Featuring today the Scottish Claymores against the Amsterdam Admirals.
Hello, the first of two crucial live games on Sky Sports over the weekend comes from Amsterdam, where the Admirals are one of 4 teams with a real chance of progressing to the World Bowl on June 23rd. There they could meet their opponents today, the Scottish Claymores, who are, of course, already there by virtue of their tremendous start to the season. I'm joined today, as usual, by our own Mike Carlson and by Claymores defensive end, David Webb. Now, David, you guys qualified for the World Bowl, but how has Coach Jim Kreiner kept you all motivated with all these other teams coming in very hungry?
He's been working us the same way as usual, but he's been telling us and emphasizing us to keep on winning, keep up our habits of doing well. But we got a lot of guys on the team that have came from mediocre programs that are sick of losing, and we're doing well now. We're going to keep it up.
Now, Mike, the Admirals, this is a team that were last year a World Bowl finalist. What do they need to do to get themselves back on track?
Al Luganville said he wishes he knows what they need to do, but basically they've gone from being a team that was run-dominated, and then they would pass off that, to a team that's pass-dominated, and their running game can't get going. That was one of their big problems against London. Defensively, they've been giving up a lot of passing yardage, and they've been giving up big plays on defense, which is something they didn't do last year. Okay, now, David, you're here because of injury. What is the problem?
I ended up getting my knee hyperextended in the last couple minutes of the game. I was hit. I ripped up a little bit of my cruciate sac around my knee, and it's not too bad. I didn't tear any ligaments. I'll be back for the World Bowl.
All right, now, Saran Stacy has to be licking his chops when he thinks about what Tony Vincent did to the defensive line on the Admirals last week.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the guy's a great runner. He reminds me a lot of Marcus Allen, and whenever he gets the opportunity to do some damage, you can believe he will.
Okay, now, when you look at them, Paul McCallum, you have to say this is a guy who's one of the reasons why, a big reason why they lead the World League.
Well, the big thing about Paul McCallum was that he'd missed the easy field goal, he'd missed the long field goal, and he came back and kicked a game winner from 46, which was impressive. And one thing with Saran and Scotland, one of the keys for that, their offensive line, it's good line, it's been intact all season long, and he's run behind it really well.
We'll definitely look out for the line again today. It's time now to hear from the men who will be calling this match for us. So it's a very good afternoon to Barry Tompkins and Bill Moss. Gentlemen, what's the latest news from Amsterdam?
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Well, the weather gods have smiled on Amsterdam. Beautiful weather conditions tonight for the Claymores and the Admirals. The Claymore, as you know, a double-edged sword, but really, Bill, I think the double-edged sword tonight belongs to the Admirals. They have been schizophrenic. Here one week, not here the next.
That's exactly right. We see him play real good, and we see him play real bad. And Al Luganville addressed the fact, he said, I don't know what team's going to show up. As a matter of fact, some of the players told us that. Will Fuhr, I don't know what team's going to show up. I don't know how the players are going to respond. They need to respond and beat the Scottish Claymores if they want to stay in the hunt for the World Bowl.
And if they're going to beat the Claymores, they have to be better than pretty good. They have to be very good.
Yeah, well, it all comes down to the guys up front, both offensively and defensively. To stop Scotland, you have to stop their power game, and that all starts with their guys up front. So the front 4 defensive linemen for Amsterdam Admirals got to play smash-mouth ball the whole game. All 60 minutes is a fist fight.
And the Scotland team right now, they're a team, even though they've already won it, you have an idea, they're focused, really seems to be a team on a mission.
They are a team on a mission. And the guy that keeps them focused is head coach Jim Kreiner. Put together in the offseason an excellent coaching staff. And the coaching staff has worked well with the team, keeping them focused and on track.
Claymores just trying to set the tone. They're already going to host the World Bowl. Amsterdam, they simply have to go out and get this one if they're to have any chance of facing the Claymores again.
Thanks a lot, fellas. We'll hear from them a little later. But as we look at the league table from this week of Week 7, here we have the Claymores on top, Amsterdam, Barcelona, and Scotland all in a dogfight.
And it's going to go right down to the wire the way it looks. Now, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head, but if more than 2 teams are tied, it's head-to-head between all the teams that are tied. So right now, Barcelona, Amsterdam, London, if London win and Barcelona would all be 2-2 against each other. Frankfurt, of course, is the kicker in that pack. And I think be a good thing to ask Dave Webb maybe is, you've played all those teams. Who does he think is most likely for Scotland to be facing in the World Bowl?
I'm afraid of them all, but I would say Frankfurt.
So you look at them as probably the better team. But we look back at last week at the Claymores. Did the defense save the day for the team? Come on,
I would have to say.
Don't be shy. Take some credit.
Our defense is pretty sweet. We're doing great, but I have to say, I have to give all the honor to Paul McCallum. He kicked the game-winning field goal when it counted.
All right, now, so on the offensive end, Steve Matthews had a streak coming in on 109 consecutive passes without an interception.
Yep.
Last week, he just blew it. Do you think that streak affected him?
I don't really think so, because he was due to make a bad pass sooner or later, and I think the first pick was probably a bad pass. A couple were bad reads as they came along, but the thing with Matthews is it didn't bother him, and when it came down to having to make those completions, he made them when it counted. Sean LaChapelle getting open and getting out of bounds on that last catch of the game was just incredible.
How you rate Sean LaChapelle as a wide receiver?
He's a great receiver. He's tall, he's strong, he's fast, and he catches everything. He's the go-to guy when we need it.
Okay, now, time for a commercial break. On our return, we'll be pointing out the men who could swing this match, and we meet a former Phoenix Cardinal who has become vital to the fortunes of the Amsterdam Admirals. Hey, it's good to have you back. The teams will be on the pitch in about 10 minutes. We'll be there for that. But first, here's Mike with the players to look out for.
Amsterdam still ranked #1 in offense in the World League, and it's not difficult to see why. Quarterback Will Fuhrer has a team record 1,775 passing yards this season, and this 6-yard TD to Trevor Cobb last week against the Monarchs set another team record of 12 touchdown passes. Wide receiver Philip Bobo, allocated by the Oakland Raiders, took his receiving yardage to 589 yards, second in the league with 3 catches in the London game. Running back T.C. Wright is expected to have recovered from a wrist injury and will once again be a major threat. On the defense, the Claymores will be keeping a special eye on cornerback Kelly Sims. In the Week 3 encounter between these teams, Sims scored the first of his season's 3 touchdowns when he ran 73 yards on a fake punt. Linebacker Keith Franklin made 8 tackles in the earlier meeting with the Claymores, while fellow linebacker Rico Mack now leads the club with 56 tackles, including 10 last week against London. There will be no love lost between the Claymores and Troy Ridgely, who faces Scotland for the first time since they waived him earlier in the season. Kicker Hans Verdecker fell 4 kicks short of setting a new league PAT record when he missed this one against the Monarchs last week. But he's still a potent force, having connected on 22 of 23 for the season. Scotland will be looking to make sure Steve Matthews avoids the sort of interceptions he suffered in this match in Week 3 when Rico Mack ran 90 yards with this pick. World League records continue to tumble for Saran Stacey. Last week against Frankfurt, he achieved his 6th 100-yard rushing game. No one else has more than 3. Stacey leads the league with 598 rushing yards and is the first player in league history to record 2 500-yard rushing seasons, and he still hasn't cut his hair. Glasgow-born wide receiver Scott Cooper had his best day of the year with 3 receptions for 45 yards. But there's no doubt that the main receiving threat comes from Sean LaChapelle. The Kansas City Chief caught 7 passes for 182 yards last week, the 4th highest single-game total in history. As well as scoring his 5th touchdown, LaChapelle also overtook Alan DeGraffenreid as the all-time franchise leader with 731 receiving yards. But you can't talk about the Claymores without reference to their #1 rated defense. These guys are awesome. Safety George Coghill returned this 32-yard interception last week. Coghill is the league's joint leader with 5 interceptions. Forey Duckett, Gia's favorite, allocated by the New Orleans Saints, had his 3rd interception of the season last week, while linebacker Mark Sander led the team with 6 tackles in this matchup in Week 3. Meanwhile, safety James Fuller was also a handful in that game, recovering a fumble, making 4 tackles, and adding 3 more on special teams. Gavin Hastings continues to be almost perfect on PATs, while Canadian kicker Paul McCallum did it when it mattered from 46 yards last week, having missed 2 field goals earlier on.
A very informative piece. But, David, on both teams, you have the linebackers and the safeties lead their respective squads in tackles. Is that how football is designed defensively?
In theory, yeah. If you want to the layman, you want to see the defensive lineman almost as offensive lineman for the linebackers. They get in the way, they get in the gaps, and of course, if the running back or the quarterback gets in the way, they're going to tackle it. But the defense is designed around to make the backers make the tackles.
Okay, now, Amsterdam, #1 on offense, Scotland, #1 defensively. What can the Admirals do to be effective against the Claymores defense?
The question might better be what Ray Wilsey's going to do to stop the Admirals' offense from working. But the Admirals must have looked at what happened against London. London ran nickel package against them almost the whole game, 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, and London still got a lot of pressure up front from their inside men, the defensive tackles, and was still able to stop the run and cover the pass. So Amsterdam's got to be able to keep Scotland's D linemen out, give Will Fuhrer time to pass, and look for them to flood the passing zones with lots of receivers.
And speaking of let's look at the Admirals' offense. T.C. Wright, is he back off the injured list?
Yeah, he should be playing, but again, he may get one hit and be out again, which is exactly what happened to him against London.
Okay, now, one man who really shone for the Admirals is tight end Willie Williams. The second-round draft choice is giving Coach Al Luginbill plenty of options. Here's Mike with more.
We've talked all season long about how injuries have plagued the Amsterdam Admirals, especially in the offensive line. And that's why, in a quiet way, Willie Williams has been a real impact player for the Admirals. And having a guy like Willie who can play tight end, tackle, and even guard has made a big difference to the Amsterdam offense. An NFL tackle, Willie expected to be a World League tight end.
When I came in, I was a lot lighter. And, I ended up coming in like around 280, and I thought that would be good enough, for me to play tight end. So, and I hadn't worked at tackle the whole year, during camp or anything, and then after the first game, they called me and told me, look, you're going to have to start at left tackle. So, at first it was kind of adjustment because I hadn't had any reps at it at all. And, but eventually, after the second game or whatever, I kind of adjusted to it, and, I started fitting in, getting everything back, my footing and timing back at left tackle.
And then as soon as you started fitting in, someone else got hurt and you moved into guard. Now, what was that like?
Now, that was a big change because I'd never played guard at all. I'm a lot taller than, most guards, and the main deal is, you really have to play low because you play against shorter, stockier guys. And, I was getting a lot of bull rushes, and, that was kind of difficult for me, in the beginning, And
we were saying you've got a tight end's body still.
Right.
Your weight's up top. You've got long legs. Does that make it hard to play guard?
Yeah, it makes it a little difficult for me because, you have to remember, you always have to remind yourself to stay low. And even when you think you're low, you're really not low enough. And so, that ended up getting me in trouble a lot.
Last week, it was a question of how low can you go as Willie went head-to-head against the Fridge, not for the first time.
Went against the Fridge when he was in Chicago in his real good days when I first got into the league. I'm sure you don't remember me, but, we ended up knocking heads for about a couple of plays.
Fridge reintroduced himself to Willie, not his real good days, by attacking his weak point with the bull rush.
That is my weakness, is trying to stop the bull. So that is something that, I know that he's going to give me, and he gave me that all game long. So that is something that I've been really working on this week, and try to prepare for the bull rush.
Now, what's your prospects after this season in the World League? Will you be back in the NFL?
Yeah, hopefully some team out there in the NFL team, will see what they like and, like what they see and hopefully, give me a shot in camp and, I take it from there. But, I feel pretty confident that, if I get a chance in somebody's NFL camp, I'll make the team.
Hey, it should be a good one today. David, the Amsterdam Admirals have never lost at home. Why do you think that the Claymores will go in and beat up on them today?
I think that Amsterdam gathers a lot from their fans, but with the way that we were last year and in the direction we're going now, I think that we're pretty much unstoppable.
All right, Al Luginbill, Mike, said that when his team has their back up against the wall, this is when they stand up. Is that a motivational ploy, or is that for real?
It better be for real, because if they don't, they're in a lot of trouble against Scotland. But I think that's true, and Luginbill's a real hands-on kind of micromanaging coach. He deals with the problems they have specifically, rather than just as a motivator. So I look for Amsterdam to give them a really tough game today.
Okay. The teams are waiting to be announced in Amsterdam. We'll be back for that. Okay, now we all know that T.C. Wright is one of the Admirals' most potent weapons, but he's also one of the smallest guys in the league. They may be small, but their impact is big.
Amongst the giants of the gridiron, there is always room for healthy debate.
Yeah, thank you. I'm the tallest, right?
I'm definitely the prettiest. Who's the slimmest?
We'll leave that to you. Amsterdam's Jerry Krafts may be 6'5", but is by no means the biggest. Frankfurt's George Hegeman comes in 2 inches taller, whilst Admiral's Zev Lemelski is 6'8". But does big mean best? Galaxy wideout Mario Bailey is a mere 5 feet 9 inches tall, as is Admiral's running back T.C. Wright. So how big is big, and how big is big enough?
Can't quite find Gary Harrell, who is only about 5'6" or 7" and just wasn't tall enough there. Harrell just needed a bit of extra height.
These so-called little men of the World League may be small in stature, but are big in contributions and have caused a giant stir around the league, putting up numbers that would be worthy of athletes of any size.
Well, I just think that being small, you have to play with a lot of heart, you know. It makes up for, you know, the height and weight or whatever. And if you don't have the heart and you're small, you can't play the game.
I mean, being a small back, I mean, I've been dealing with it since I've been playing football. But being a small back, you gotta make up in other places like strength and speed. So all the small backs and all the small people playing football, we're strong and we're fast. But that kickoff return, when I hit the corner, I knew I was going, but I felt like they're not gonna catch me.
This league is a passing league, and I think what teams trying to do is take advantage of our skills. You know, we got good speed and also can go deep, and also have great hands. So what they trying to do is just make the game more exciting by high scores and just put the ball up in the air.
Harrell and other undersized players have shown that to stop them, you must first catch them. But there will always be critics doubting their durability and stamina.
I think we're all here just to kind of prove that small players can play the game of football. I think in the NFL there's a misconception these days that small receivers can't play. You have your Michael Irvins, Jerry Rice, and Herman Moores, but people like me and Gary can still do just as much as they can, even though of our size, and all this is a stepping stone to just prove that we can play football just as well as anybody can.
These short people have no reason to worry and do have reason to play this game. Try to share it with others.
Just try and focus on what you want to do. You know, set goals for yourself and try and reach those goals. Height and size doesn't mean anything when you have a goal to reach, you know, and it's something that you really want in life. And this is what I wanted, and I'm here right now.
Everybody likes the little guys. But speaking of like, is Troy Ridgely going to have much love left for the Claymores today?
I know he's looking for revenge. I know if it were me, I would. But we all love Troy. He played with us last year, and I know he loves us. I don't think he's going to be looking out to hurt anybody. He's just going to be looking for some good play.
So when did, I mean, he's with the Claymores, and then when did he get released?
I think it was at the Ryan game. It was about the 4th game of the season. They brought in Jeff Coat to play, and they released him in Amsterdam, picked him up.
All right, now, Mike, we have with the Claymores on the offense and defensively the last 2 or 3 weeks. They've been kind of slack.
You got a good one coming.
Yeah. I mean, will we see them pick it up this week and try to play the 4 quarters of football?
Yeah, you got to expect that they will. And one of the things that's happening is no matter how much you try to prevent it, you know you're going to have some sort of letdown when your season is in effect clinched on the side. And the other thing that's happened for the Claymores is that they're an aggressive team. They've made a lot of breaks happen for them, but almost all the breaks have gone their way this year. Last year, almost all of them went against them. So at some point, these start to catch up to you. And it's, you know, I expect them to have one bad game before the World Bowl comes up.
When you clinched the World Bowl, as an individual player, I mean, did it get to a point of like, now that we can relax, or did you know that you have to improve your intensity?
I think we were really relieved when we got that. I mean, like I said before, we had a lot of players from mediocre teams that have been used to losing, and when we did that, it was a great relief. A lot of guys were like, gosh, we finally got there. But, you know, to get on the point again, we don't want to start losing. We want to keep a good habit going.
All right, on the Admirals, defensively, what do they need to do to be ready for today's game?
Well, I think the big thing is stop the running game in Saran and then cut off Sean LaChapelle, make Scotland go to their other receivers.
Okay, it's time now to meet the teams. So it's a very good evening again to Barry Tompkins and Bill Moss in Amsterdam.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. The Scottish Claymores, the first onto the field of visitors here in Amsterdam tonight, as you know. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for the Scottish Claymores, trying to get the crowd all excited here. This is a solid Scottish Claymore team. As you said, they've already won the championship, but simple fact is, this still seems to me, Bill, to be a very hungry football team.
Well, they're a very focused team, Barry, is what they are, and the head coach and his coaching staff has kept them that way all season long. They clinched a World Bowl berth in Scotland, and, you know, you clinch it at the halfway mark. So then you want to see what happens the rest of the way, and the rest of the way is these guys are still playing good football.
Yo Murphy, a guy who's only caught 9 passes. We expect to see a lot more of him tonight. Randy Berman will be the start at left tackle. Big guy, 6'4", 320. Tom Barnt, property of the Kansas City Chiefs, will be the left guard. Lanzino, we spoke to him yesterday, one of the good guys in this league. Played his college ball at UCLA alongside Lanzino. Purvis Hunt, another load, 6'3", 383 pounds.
The big guys up front for Scotland make it all happen. And the right side is particularly big with Hunt and Wagner.
A lot of people feel that this is the strongest unit on the Scottish Claymores team. Willie Tate, the tight end, expect to see a lot of him today, too. And here's a guy who really has been a catalyst for this team, Bill.
Yeah, he's over here on a mission, and he's proven what he's over here to do. He's showing he wants to get back in the NFL, and he can play hurt.
Steve Matthews, the quarterback, a guy just looking for repetitions, looking for experience.
2-year layoff, and this has been real instrumental in his comeback to the NFL.
Jared Kaiholo will be the fullback. Family lives in Hawaii, and you saw that little Hawaiian signal there that means aloha, means what's happening, actually. Literal translation. And, of course, Saran Stacy, who will be the other running back. And Saran Stacy has made a very loud declaration as to his worth in the National Football League. Led the league in rushing last year, leading the league in rushing once again this year.
Yeah, if you want to stop the Claymores, you have to stop their running game. And that's taking away Saran Stacy.
2 guys make the biggest noise for the Claymores, and then, of course, Sean LaChapelle and Saran Stacy, and that will be the job of the Amsterdam Admirals. And this is a team that you really have the feeling could go either way today.
Not quite sure what team is ever going to show up when they take the field. Al Luganville can't put his finger on it. He tells you straight out, he says, I don't know what the problem is. It's not the same group of guys last year. Last year I had a grasp of what the team was going to do, and they had a 9-1 record. This year they've been up and down and been hovering around the 500 mark, and they need this win to get to 500 and to keep their hopes alive for the World Bowl berth.
One thing that is a given, and that is that it is a very thin Amsterdam Admirals team. Just not a lot of backup help depending on who's available, and to be very honest with you, we don't even know at this late date who is going to be available.
Yeah, it could be a surprise who plays, and if somebody goes down, they're really going to have to mix and match some people.
Crowd, of course, reacting, a bigger crowd here because there are 1,000 kids on hand for this game. It's going to make it noisy in here, and if Amsterdam can get out quickly, they can rally the crowd behind them, and that's really a factor. Mike Evans will get the start at a left defensive end position. Evans went to the University of Michigan, was the #1 draft choice of this team a year ago. Troy Ridgely will get the start ahead of Malcolm Scholl.
Yeah, and Troy Ridgely was with the Scottish Claymores 2 weeks ago, and they had to make room for Ty Parton coming back, so they released Ridgely. So he's got a little vengeance here.
Gary Howe, we spoke to him the other day. They call him Stumpy. Why do you suppose?
Oh, look at him run out there. That's a stumpy figure. Looks like a fire hydrant, huh?
Says at nose guard, though, it's not going to bother me playing in the NFL. Of course, here he's on a 4-man line. Jim Hanna will start.
And those front 4 guys right there are going to be the key to Amsterdam's success. If they have a good game, Amsterdam has a chance today.
And I don't believe they have a backup. Bobby Hamilton depends on his health. You saw Pascal Davis. Starts the left outside linebacker spot. Rico Mack, he may wind up playing a little down line today before it's all done.
The dramatic Rico Mack, as you saw there, he lets out some wild animal yells when he makes a tackle.
Keith Franklin, allocated player from the Oakland Raiders. He's jacked.
He's second on the team with tackles, has 44 of them.
Kelly Sims, arguably the most valuable member of this Amsterdam Admirals team. He's going for the train, but he's going all by himself here.
Well, he likes the train and he likes the end zone. He has 3 touchdowns, 1 on special team and 2 interception returns.
Tommy Jones will be the other cornerback out of Fresno State.
He gets the start ahead of an injured Torrey Hunter. Again, a situation where injuries have plagued this Amsterdam team all year.
Robert O'Neill will move into the safety spot. This is his second year with the Amsterdam Admirals. And Jay Phillips, who leads this team in interceptions with 3, will be the free safety. And that's the way the Admirals line up. But this is a team that has been decimated with injury and simply cannot afford any more. So Al Luganville, I think, really has his work cut out for him today, Bill. So there's the participants, the Scottish Claymores who've already run it, the Amsterdam Admirals looking to be a part of it. We welcome you back to Olympic Stadium. Barry Tompkins, Bill Moss. There's where we are, right up at the tip top here, if you will, of continental Europe.
Is that it?
That's it. That's where we are.
I'll tell you, I've been all over Europe, not sure where I wake up anymore. I need that red dot to let me know where we're at.
Unfortunately, it's been on my forehead a great deal. Al Luganville, a guy who really has his work cut out for him today. He has a team that has been decimated with injury.
Play all that play.
And he really doesn't know, I don't think, who's going to show up, who's going to play, and if his team, figuratively speaking, is going to show up, Bill.
Here we go.
Jim Kreiner, on the other hand, he's got his team really on a major role, and I'm sure what Jim is saying is just go out and do what you've been doing.
Yeah, they have, and I'll tell you what they have been doing is running the ball. And until you stop the run with Surround Stacey, you won't be able to stop the Scottish Claymores.
So the Claymores are going to kick it off to the Amsterdam Admirals. And the deep man for the Admirals, Theo Blanco, will be to the near side, and it's going to be Blanco who's going to handle this. National player at about the 5-yard line. Gets back to 10, to 15, to the 20, to the 25-yard line. And will be stopped at about the 28-yard line. So Blanco on special teams gets a chance to return that kick, and you might have seen T.C. Wright saying, go ahead, you take it. Will Fuhrer is going to be the man who's going to have to take the Amsterdam Admirals. Top-rated quarterback in the World League, but he, too, because of all the injuries, he hasn't really had an opportunity to work on his timing with his receivers because all his receivers have been banged up.
You know what they've done, too? They changed offensive schemes on him. And 2 weeks ago, they put in a new offense. This is actually the 3rd week he's had a chance to run it.
Bobo comes to the near side. Chandler goes to the far side. Double slot. Now run out of that a lot. They give to T.C. Wright on first down. And Wright is stopped by Gerald Jeffcoat in the middle of the field. We talk about the injuries that this team has had, and it's really a question of who's going to show up. Philip Bobo has got a bad thumb, and he took 4 stitches in his hand. Diedrich Smith has got a rib problem, suffered against London last Monday. T.C. Wright, a bruised sternum. He couldn't breathe. It really scared him, actually. He saw Etheridge is injured. This is a team beset with problems, and they didn't get anything on first down. Fuhrer will go up. Looks for Bobo. Knocked down nicely that time by James Williams. Let's take a look at the backs and receivers as they line up for this Amsterdam Admiral team. Admirable is what they'd like to be, actually. T.C. Wright, the running back. Vito Bryant, they'll put him in the slot, but you'll see him in a setback position as well. Philip Bobo is the go-to guy. 3rd down and 10. Fuhrer will put it up again. Now he has to step up, roll away, and throws across his body, and incomplete. He just couldn't quite get the ball to the intended receiver, who was Bean O'Brien.
You know, they were in shotgun formation, all 3 of those plays, and a quick offensive huddle. They just came up to the line of scrimmage and tried to get the thing moving, trying to catch the Claymores off balance. But you see what got them going for the Claymores was their pass rush, and it's been there for them all year.
Mark Sander, middle linebacker, the guy really putting the pressure on Fuhrer and flushing him out of there. Fuhrer had to throw across his body. That's a tough thing to do. Line drive kick headed for Gissendaner, drives him back to the 30-yard line, lets it bounce, and it takes a Scottish Claymore bounce at about the 32, and that's where the Claymores will put it in play.
Lee Gissendaner seemed to have lost that punt up in the sun.
Sun is in a very strange position. It's kind of low, and as a result of that, it's even hard to pick the lines of the field up exactly where the ball is being marked. There's a look at Steve Matthews, and here's some of the vitals on him. Played at Memphis State, but did he really play? Only played 20 games as a college quarterback and hadn't played as a pro either.
As a junior, he broke his leg on a quarterback sneak and missed 2 years of football. So this World League experience for him has really been instrumental in his comeback to the NFL.
They run out of the I formation with Stacy, the tailback. He gets the call, sweep right, and he got about a yard, maybe two. Mike Evans.
Nice play by Mike Evans. I'll tell you what, he held up that corner, and that's what you're going to have to do to take away the running game, is you're going to have to use up those corners, the tackle and the lead blockers. And you can see right there, if you stop the run, you take away half of their total offense. These two guys account for 69% of the team's total yards.
Actually lost a yard on a play. We'll call it 2nd and 11 as LaChapelle comes to the near side. They bring Stacy up on a wing this time. Straight back to pass goes Matthews. Big rush comes, throws deep and nowhere near the intended receiver.
Well, very rarely do you see Stacy in a slot position. You know when he's up on the line of scrimmage that it's going to be a pass, and that time Amsterdam was ready. And you can see the backs and receivers right there, and Saran Stacy's going to get a lot of work today. We're going to see him. We've been talking about him. But 88, Sean LaChapelle, that's the guy they tried to throw to there. You're going to see a lot of him when they need big yardage.
They go with split backs this time on 3rd down and 11. Back to pass again, Matthews. Matthews with a lot of time. Now he runs out of time. Throwing deep, well covered and well defended that time by Kelly Sims. Sims playing the corner, seems to like the corner and just doing a heck of a job.
Kelly Sims has played everywhere. He's played 3 positions. He's lined up at corner, how he is now, and he's lined up at safety and nickel backer. So he's a guy they utilize everywhere. And he also has 3 touchdowns to account for a big part of their offense.
Vito Bryant will be the deep man to receive the punt of Paul McCallum, and you see McCallum averaging just under 34 yards a kick. This is a returnable ball for Bryant, and he's hit. There's going to be a flag. Did not give him the space required to catch the football. Forey Duckett was just right there. And Duckett was exactly what Vito Bryant was trying to do.
He took a lick. There's no question about that. And it's going to be a 15-yard penalty and give the Amsterdam Admirals nice field position, a short field for their offense to start working.
Interference with the opportunity to catch the kick. It's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
So excellent field position. Take another look at it. You got to give the man 3 yards, and Forey Duckett gave him absolutely nothing. He got there before the ball did.
We see Forey Duckett. He gets down there quick, but he just doesn't time it. He didn't. He put it. The helmet was in his hands before the ball was.
Ball just short of midfield at the 49-yard line, so good field position for the Amsterdam Admirals. They come to the line of scrimmage now with Bobo coming to the near side. Smith slots inside of him. To the far side, Darren Chandler.
You know, it's been very interesting thus far. Will Fuhr has lined up every down in shotgun formation. You know, last week and prior week, we always see him under center. But he's trying to avoid the rush and give himself time to set up.
They did everything last week off a 7-man drop, and quite frankly, it just didn't work at all. Fuhr to throw on 1st down. Will clear out for Jones, makes the catch, and dropped at about the 43-yard line.
Well, the key to their success for Amsterdam is going to have to be the guys up front. Last week, they couldn't block anybody, and Will Fuhr was scrambling all over the field. So these guys right here have their work cut out for him. And number 71, Mario Cristobal, he gets the start for an injured Don Willis.
That's a very tough chore, and especially going out of the shotgun makes the center's job that much more difficult. They give it an inside handoff this time to Wright, trying to get outside, turns the corner and picks up about a yard. Cracked down hard by George Coghill.
Well, George Coghill is one of the big hitters, but the unit that makes this defense go are the guys up front. DeWitt, Jeffcoat, Parton, and Carroll, you watch them. They're rarely on the ground. That's surprising because you usually, as defensive lineman, you get your feet tangled up with the offensive lineman, you end up on the ground, but not these guys. They're always standing up, and they're always chasing the ball.
3rd down now and 2. And they go out of the power I this time. Now in motion comes the H-back, who is Etheridge, and they give to Wright. And Wright's going to get the 1st down and more to about the 35-yard line. And it's Coghill again on the stop, but a first down for the Admirals.
Well, they've had trouble running the ball. And you see right there, number 79, Kevin Farkas, he does a good job by bringing his man down to the ground. He's beat, but he pulls his man down. And there, Bean Bryant finds enough room to pick up the first down. And they need to run the ball, too. They need to get this offense going, run and pass, to have a chance of winning.
They go out of the shotgun once again with T.C. Wright, the lone running back, and a double slot. And Fuhrer will go up on first down. Flag down. Fuhrer steps up, throwing wide open. Bobo, he overthrew it. Now we'll see about the flag. Flag went down early. Fuhrer just flat missed him.
And he's had that problem all year. And we've talked to their coaches about it. And he says the long ball, he's having a problem with the accuracy. He has the arm strength, and he has the composure in the pocket. But the accuracy has been a problem for Will Fuhrer.
And blown coverage clearly by the Claymores. Let's listen.
Illegal substitution. Number 72, reported as a tight end on the previous play, did not change his status. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Take a look
Penalties
at these
have been a big problem.
Go ahead.
Penalties have been a real big problem for Amsterdam. You see the numbers right there? I mean, that's an additional 200 yards the opposite way. And every time they seem to get something going, they get a penalty and they start going backwards.
First and 15 now. Again, Fuhrer to throw. Does so. Throws too tall for Bobo. And incomplete. James Williams on the coverage.
You know, this new offense they're running, they got 4 wideouts, and the slot receivers are key in the Amsterdam's offense. And the guys that have to cover them are the linebackers. Arnold Ali, Mark Sanders, and Shannon Jones. Now, Jones is going to be out a lot because with 4 wideouts, they play nickel situation. That's 5 DBs, so Shannon Jones will be coming out.
Second and 15 now. Fuhrer again back to pass. 4-man rush. Fuhrer with time steps up and throws to nobody as once again the intended receiver, who this time was Diedrich Smith, was just kind of caught up about 8 yards from where Fuhrer was throwing it. And that's just a communications problem.
These guys right here are the problem. I mean, yeah, Will Fuhrer had a communication problem on that play, but these guys right here account for 17 interceptions. They lead the world league in interceptions. And the nucleus of the whole defense is Fuller and Coghill, the safeties. I mean, you talk to Ray Wilsey and Jim Kreiner, and they just rave about the play of these two guys.
Third down and 15. They come with a trips left. And Fuhrer rolls left. Steps up, throws, incomplete. And again, good coverage. Bobo, the intended receiver. And right there on the coverage once more, you just spoke about it. James Williams, secondary, doing a great job so far.
Yeah, no, Will Fuhrer has had problems in the pocket. Their offensive line not giving enough time to have protection. So what does he do? He rolls. And right here, he rolls out of the pocket to the strong side where there's 3 receivers. And he tries to get the ball to Philip Bobo, but the coverage by James Williams was superb.
And so from great field position, he'll have to punt it away, and that's an ugly-looking kick. But it takes a pretty good bounce. Goes out of bounds inside the 10-yard line to about, or inside the 20, I should say, at about the 15-yard line. And that's where the Scottish Claymores will take over. 9:21 remaining first period. No score. We'll be back.
Hey, this has the look of definitely a very good football game. But Dave noticed something in the play of the Admirals' offensive line. We can look at that on the replay.
Yeah, and what Dave was talking about is the left tackle for Amsterdam. That's Kevin Farkas, who's 6'9", about 370 pounds. And look at the way he lines up. You know they're going to pass by the way he is. But the rule says that you're supposed to be basically lined up on the line of scrimmage. He looks more like a slot back. And the thing about that is, as Dave was saying, it gives him a real advantage against the defensive end. What's that, Dave?
Well, this quarterbacking, he's lined up farther back, and what it does, it gives the offensive tackle more room to play with because he's so big he can't shift around as well. If the defensive end wants to tack underneath, he's already taken it away.
And the thing is, you never see that called, not in the NFL or nothing.
Okay, let's get back to Amsterdam.
Well, Bill, remember Al Luganbill told us when we spoke with him yesterday, he said, we have got to get good field position. Our defense and our special teams have got to give us the ball where we can do something with it. They did, and the offense didn't.
Yeah, they're doing it. And I'll tell you what, he also said that you can tell through the course of the first series how they're going to play, and he's got to be happy so far with what he's seen.
First out at the 17-yard line. Play fake pass. Matthews hit as he threw, and LaChapelle can't catch up with it. Matthews took a real shot right as he threw the ball.
Well, I'll tell you, so far, Scotland's not off to the typical start that they have. You're going to see right here, number 96, number 55, Rico Mack on the blitz. See the hit he put on Steve Matthews? That's what you have to do. He hasn't been hit that much. And you rattle him around a little bit, he's going to be even more apprehensive in the pocket.
Yo Murphy goes to the far side. LaChapelle to the near side. Split backs behind Matthews on second down. They give to Stacy, and Stacy can't slip the first tackle. Gary Howe with a good job just to hang on.
Well, the guys up front for Scotland have been the nucleus of their offense. They generate the run game. They get the thing going, and that enables them to run the play action off of that. And 4 of the 5 guys are allocated. The only one that's not allocated is Randy Bierman. So it's a good group, but right now it seems that they're having their problems early on down here in Amsterdam.
Purvis Hunt at 383 pounds. Makes you look positively svelte. Straight back to pass on 3rd and 10. Matthews steps out of pressure. Now he's going to run. Doesn't have any place to go. Tucks it away, and down he goes. He picked up about 5, well short of the first down. And the Claymores will have to give it up.
Second possession, second time they punted, no first downs for the Scottish Claymores. And I told you early on that the front 4 are going to have to play an outstanding game for the Admirals. And the pressure like that, chasing Matthews around in the pocket, is going to do it for him. Almost caught right there, scrambles a little bit. Lucky he didn't get hurt here by Jim Hanna.
Did manage to tuck the ball away. Another short kick that Bino Bryant will let bounce, and it's going to take a Scottish Claymores bounce, as Bryant really didn't have any choice. He couldn't run up and field that ball. And the ball will ultimately go dead right at about the 30-yard line. Here are the standings in the World League. We mentioned the Scottish Claymores have already run it, but boy, Bill, it's a grab bag with everybody else.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we're going to be keeping an eye on the Frankfurt game, Rhine game. We'll update you on that score, because there really could be a logjam coming on here. And the Admirals control their own destiny. If they win the rest of the games, they're automatically in because of the point differential.
Well, you and I saw this team play at London on Monday night. Quite frankly, they were not real impressive. But the last time they played here, they put 48 on the board against Barcelona. Swing pass to Jones, caught for a gain of a couple.
Man, did you see that? I'll tell you, offensive line, they've been having some problems up front, you know, protecting the passer. Watch what they do. They cut everybody at the line of scrimmage. Now, Will Fuhr has a clear shot to see the field. New strategy by their offense. That's one way to take care of their defensive rush.
Gain of about 3. It'll be second down and 7. They give this time to Wright, straight ahead with room, and Wright will have the first down across the 35 to about the 36-yard line.
Well, you see what they're doing here? They're really keeping the Scottish Claymores defense in check. They come out with a short pass, and then they come back with the draw play. And you see how it opened up? I mean, that's really going to keep a defense on their toes. You know, they just can't pin their ears back and rush because you don't know what's coming at you.
Ball at the 45-yard line, and a bit of a hurry-up offense here. Fuhrer straight back to pass on first down, looking deep. Throws, and it is knocked down beautifully. Big-time defensive play. I believe it was James Williams who made the play. Check it was Forey Duckett.
Well, you see he has a lot of time in the pocket, Will Fuhr. And he finds his man as he's getting hit. But Forey Duckett does a nice job of closing on the ball. And the referee there wasn't in position to make a call because Forey Duckett had his right arm draped.
There are defensive backs will tell you got to make that play with your other hand, because if the guy catches it, you have no way of tackling it. Little swing pass this time to Bino Bryant. Bryant gets out of bounds at about the 47-yard line, a gain of about 2.
Well, now it's a defensive down. When there's a defense, you want to get in this situation. You want to create 3rd and long, because then you know exactly what they're going to do. They need to pass to pick up the first down. And here they have nickel package in. That's 5 DB.
And going with a no-huddle offense, too. Straight back to pass goes Fuhrer. Steps up again. Throws much too tall for Bobo. Almost intercepted by David Wilson. Wilson was in center field, right in the right spot. Just couldn't come up with the pick. And another ball that I'm sure Will Fuhrer would like to have back.
But David Wilson is the nickel guy in the situation. And he's helped this team out a lot, too. He has 3 interceptions himself.
So the Admirals will have to give it up once again as Gissendaner goes back and stands at about the 15-yard line to receive this punt. Gissendaner a real threat to break it. a chance to do a lot of his games in college, and I saw him do it more than once. Pretty good kick, though. High kick drives Gissendater back to about the 8-yard line. Starts back to the 10. Down he goes immediately. Good coverage. Excellent special teams play by the Admirals. Down under at that time was Rico Mack to make the play. No score. 6:11 left, first quarter.
It's good defensive game by the Amsterdam Admirals so far, Mike.
Yeah, by both teams, really, because it looks like they're both coming out and trying to put points on the board first, and the first team that scores is going to give themselves an advantage.
Now, the Admirals in shotgun on the offense. Did the Claymores prepare for that this week?
Yeah, we looked at that a little bit, but I think what it's going to come down is which team's line is going to break down first.
So,
yeah, shotgun is something Amsterdam did in the World Bowl last year against Frankfurt. And the problem with that is we said before the game that they're using the pass instead of the run to set their game up. And shotgun gives them very little chance to get the run into the game.
So when you get into the shotgun defensively, what are you thinking about? Are you looking at from a passing point of view, rushing point of view, what?
I mean, as a defensive lineman, I'm full tilt upfield, get to the quarterback, you know, be ferocious as a pass rusher. But, you know, they will once in a while throw a draw in there, just throw you off.
Now, speaking of that, getting to the quarterback, the Claymores are not really renowned for sacking the quarterback, but is that important?
Well, the way I believe is that pressures are more important than sacks. Sacks are really nice as a defensive lineman. You know, it gives you the nice stats, but what that does, it gives you the defensive backs opportunities to get interceptions, misthrown balls.
And that's what the defensive backs are doing. Right. Now, we look at the Claymores on the offensive side. Willie Tate, Scott Cooper, do you think that they need to be in the offense, or will they be in the offense more down the stretch?
Well, it's one of the things is you assume teams are going to try to shut off Saran out of the backfield, and they're going to try to shut off Sean LaChapelle, so someone else has to be open. And we've been waiting almost all year for it to be Willie Tate. He's had a few balls thrown to him, and he hasn't always caught all of them. But basically, he's a good receiver and a good runner with the ball. He's got to get the ball. Yo Murphy's got to get the ball at more often on the side. Sooner or later, Matthews will look away and find these guys.
So whose choice is it? Is it the offensive coordinator's choice, or is it Steve Matthews' choice?
Well, you can set things up to go that way, but basically what you're doing is you're waiting for Matthews to make the second read or to go to the third read even on the side. Now, we saw these guys were all covered coming out on the last side, so good coverage by Amsterdam. That'll stop anything.
Barry Tompkins, Bill Moss. We're at Olympic Stadium here in Amsterdam, site of the 1928 Olympic Games. No score, 6:11 remaining. First period, Claymore starting deep in their own territory at the 10-yard line. Field position game has been owned by the Admirals, but nobody has scored so far. Out of the I formation on first down. Slot left, LaChapelle in the slot. Matthews might get a free play here, but he fumbled the ball, picked it up, handed it to Stacy, and it's going to wind up being a penalty.
Well, we talked about the guys up front for Amsterdam and the importance of them in this game. You know, last week they got gashed on the ground for like 232 yards rushing. So you know they're out here to prove something today. They're at home and they've been getting their butts chewed out in meeting all week. So they've got something to prove.
Well, I know that Al Luganville and the coaching staff was very displeased with the way they tackled against London. And that, of course, all you'd have to do is look at the numbers of rushing yardage that the Monarchs pulled off. Good job right there as Stacy stuck right as he got to the hole by Rico Mack, who so far is having a big game.
I'll tell you, Rico Mack and Keith Franklin last week were part of the problem. You know, they couldn't tackle, they weren't wrapping up, and Vincent ran all over for them. But today, they're out here tackling. And if you could see that tackle Rico Mack just put on Teron Stacy, that was a form tackle.
Second down and 5 now, again out of the I formation and a slot left. Matthews swings out of the backfield to Stacy, and Stacy this time did get by the first man, but again, good gang tackling, and it's going to be a loss of a couple yards and a late flag. And I have an idea that this could cost Amsterdam.
Well, what I think it is, I think it's a face mask when they got in that pile right there, and that's going to hurt them. And the penalties have been hurting Amsterdam all year long.
This one's going against the Scottish Claymores, I believe, however. So look at Jim Soker, the offensive coordinator of the Scottish Claymores. Guy who had a phenomenal coaching record at Division II University of California, Davis. won his conference title 18 years in a row. That's not bad.
Illegal use of the hands against Scotland.
Illegal block in the back. Number 71 of the offense during the run. Penalized from the previous spot, half the distance to the goal. Repeat, second down.
Tom Barnt is the guilty party. That will back it up to about the 7-yard line. It'll bring about a second down, and we'll call it 13. As I said earlier, it's very difficult to give you exact down and distance, mainly because you just cannot see the lines on the field here at Olympic Stadium. So call it 2nd and 13. Matthews will put it up. Pressure coming, and Matthews hit as he threw. Intended for Kaihalo. And again, a good job by the Amsterdam down 4.
Mike Evans on the rush right there. He had a nice swim move and got in Steve Matthews' face. And like I said, you know, these guys, the game rests on their shoulders, and they knew it coming into the game, and they're responding to it. And it's part of the Jekyll and Hyde theory we talked about earlier. You know, last week you couldn't find them anywhere. Now they're all over the quarterback.
This time they bring Willie Tate in motion from the outside, and Matthews steps up, throws. Ball is caught well short of the first down. Willie Tate was the receiver on the play, and it was well short of the first down.
Watch 97, Mike Evans, to the left of your screen there. Look at the push he gets on Keith Wagner, number 78. He drives Wagner right into the lap of Steve Matthews, and he's been a force for him thus far early in the game.
So once again, Amsterdam should get good field position. There's Bino Bryant standing just the other side of midfield at about the 47. One hop snap from center and a twisting kick. Bryant, fair catch at about the 46-yard line. Let's take a look at what has to happen now to be the opponent of the Scottish Claymores, and Amsterdam in a situation because point differential would be one of the deciders, and they have a decided edge there. And a lot of that, of course, is the result of their last home game here, in which they scored 48 points against Barcelona.
Well, you can see they're in control of their own destiny. Amsterdam is. Even at 3 and 4, if they win the rest of their games, they're automatically in.
Fuhrer out of the shotgun, play fake pass on first down, throws in and out of the hands of Diedrich Smith, the ball that, quite frankly, has to be caught.
You have to catch that ball. I mean, they've had problems enough with their offense, and then they're in the process of changing an offense, and they have this new offense in, and, you know, now you have drop balls to put on top of that. You need to catch that stuff and get it downfield. Their defense and their special teams are giving their offense the opportunity to score points. Now they need to move the ball and get it into the end zone.
Second down and 10 now. Once more out of the shotgun. Double slot. Jones in the slot to the right. Smith in the slot to the left. Fuhrer in trouble. Unloads. Caught by Bobo over the middle. Bobo at the 40. Loses a man. Still running laterally, and finally is stopped at about the 35-yard line by Frank Robinson. But a first down for Amsterdam, and he was wide open.
Philip Bobo's been their go-to guy, number 81. And in this offense, you know, you're going to have to get the ball to him. And he's been hampered all week by injury. He has his hand taped up. You're going to see he has 4 stitches inside. The ball busted it open last week, and there he gets the ball, and he has some nifty footwork to try to pick up some extra yards.
First completed pass of the ball game for the Amsterdam Admirals, and a first down at about the 36-yard line.
Will Fuhrer calling an audible.
That was the 4th completion for Fuhrer. Fuhrer throws again, and it is caught on a little curl that time by Darren Chandler, and another first down.
Well, Will Fuhrer saw they were in two-man zone. They're too deep. The safeties have to cover to half the field. And he knew what to expect, and he audibled at the line of the scrimmage.
So all of a sudden, the Admirals moving the ball. The ball right now at the 20-yard line. Out of the shotgun once more, and they give to T.C. Wright. Wright's got room up the middle at the 15-yard line. And down to about the 12-yard line.
The offensive line right there for Amsterdam doing a fine job of turning the blockers out. You see that? They sit up like it's a pass rush and then turn their bodies inside to shield off the gap and come up the middle. And then T.C. Wright has to do one thing, and that's make somebody miss, and he did right there. It was Mark Sanders.
Again, they go out of the shotgun on second down and about 2. Ball at the 12-yard line. Long count this time from Fuhrer. 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Checking off. Got to get the play off, and does. Straight back to pass. Throws for the end zone. Bobo was hammered. Let's see. No flag.
What Will Fuhrer saw was their fake blitz. They know that the Scottish Claymores defense, when they get in scoring zone, they like to bring the safety blitz. And you saw right there, the safeties were up on the line of scrimmage faking the blitz. Will Fuhrer checked out of it, but the safeties didn't come, and they fell back into some nice coverage. Number 20, James Fuller, was on the line of scrimmage. Then he drops back into coverage. And that's when he had the 2 people on Philip Bobo.
They bring John Saka into the ball game now as the quarterback. We've seen them do this in short yardage situations. Saka a little bit more mobile than Fuhrer. Out of the I formation with Wright, the tailback, and they give it to Wright, and he's going to be close, and it'll depend on the spot. John Saka out of Eastern Kentucky, started at Penn State. You know that school, right?
Yeah, I remember he got in a little turmoil up there, and then he lost his starting job, and he wasn't happy, and he transferred to East Kentucky and had a fine career down there.
Was the starter ahead of Kevin Collins for a while at Penn State, and I guess that's what started the row up there. And he said, well, if I'm not going to play there, I'm going to go down here and play.
Well, you can't knock him starting Kelly Collins because he's a fine quarterback, and he's really going to be a pillar for the Carolina Panthers.
Was enough for the first down. The ball right at the 10-yard line. And they go out of the shotgun again with Fuhrer back at quarterback. Swing pass out of the backfield. Wright gets the line of scrimmage and might have gotten a yard inside the 10 to the 9-yard line.
T.C. Wright is a guy that he started out last year, and he was a big force for the Amsterdam Adimarls, a big component in their 9-1 record last year. Then this year he came back and he didn't get the carries he was supposed to get, and you know, then they had a 2-back offense. Now they're in a 1-back offense, and he's the featured guy. But you can still see his total yards, how they use him. He's second in the World League.
And with that, the first quarter has come to a close. And a look at the scoreboard shows the hometown Amsterdam Adimarls nothing but threatening, and the Scottish Claymores nothing.
The game is in Amsterdam, and the Admirals are marching on the Scottish Claymores right now. But, Dave, what are they doing to the Claymores defense?
I don't see the Claymore defense getting into the quarterback's face right now. The quarterback doesn't have any pressure, and he's picking the defense apart. I think, we got to remember these guys are their offense is pretty big, and they can wear down at the end of the game.
I mean, and you look at a completely different Amsterdam team mentally than last week. 50 yards rushing total last week, but on this drive, they seem to be churning out the yards on the ground also.
Well, they're getting the yardage rushing by emphasizing the passing game and running draws off that. And you see what Fuhrer's doing is trying to see what defense Scotland's playing before he calls the play. A lot of audibles at the line of scrimmage.
Barry Tompkins, Bill Moss. We start the second quarter here at Olympic Stadium in Amsterdam. Crowd getting into it. Why not? Their team's on the move here, looking at a second down and goal. Ball at about the 9-yard line. Amsterdam playing pretty well, Bill.
Yeah, inconsistency has been the problem with these players for not making it in the NFL, and it's also been the key here in the World League. And the teams show from it. One week they're great, the next weekend they're terrible. Right now, Amsterdam's off to a fine start.
Diedrich Smith comes in motion to the near side on second down. Fuhrer will go straight up. Has time. Throws over the middle. Little clear out. It's caught. Carlos Etheridge, the receiver, at about the 3-yard line. And believe me, that is a sheer guess.
Well, Carlos Etheridge is a tight end. And because of all the injuries they've had, he's had to move out here. And he goes out. You can see him right there. He flares out into the slot position. And he curls right in there at the seam, and Mark Sanders is there to make the tackle, but still, it's enough to get him a 4-yard gain.
Now we're going to call it 3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. And the give this time is to Wright, and Wright will not get there. He's going to be stopped at about the 1, and now Al Luganville's got a real decision to make here.
Well, Amsterdam had their big people in at that point in time, and what I mean by big people is they bring Marcus Spears and Willie Williams out to the tight end position. They bring in Don Willis. It's usually Mario Cristobal, but it's all linemen up front from tight end to tight end.
Well, I think they're going to kick it. They are, in fact, as they bring Adam Vinatieri on. Now, they do have a fake kick in the book, so we'll see what they do here. Kicking game has been an adventure, not only for Amsterdam, but for most teams in this league.
Well, last time they played Scotland, they ran a fake field goal and were successful on it up to the point where Rico Mack fumbled the ball.
Amsterdam's going to take a timeout. First time out of the ball game.
Do we have hey, Coach, do we have everybody in there we need now?
That would kind of give you an indication, Bill, wouldn't it, just reading between the lines of what Al Luganville is saying? That
we have everybody in there we need.
Right. 1 year, a lot of the same players, and look at the difference. 9 up, 1 down last year. This year, 3 and 4, and schizophrenic.
Talking to Al Luganville about that, you say, what's the biggest difference? You know, you got a lot of the same guys back, and you were 9 and 1 last year.
Nice easy stroke. Nice easy stroke.
And he credits the talent level in this league as a big part of the factor for their season thus far, 3 and 4.
Everybody talks about keeping people healthy too, and Amsterdam probably, at least at this juncture, the most banged up team in the World League, and the Scottish Claymores have managed to keep themselves intact maybe more than anybody else in the league. So the numbers on Vinatieri, he's 5 of 6. This is a chip shot, pretty much right in the center of the field. Well, he's got a little bit of an angle here. Snap, place, kick, and good. First points of the ball game put on the board by the home team. The Amsterdam Admirals lead it by a 3-0 count on a chip shot field goal by Vinatieri. And I think the Scottish Claymores can't be too unhappy as they manage to contain the Admirals inside the 10-yard line. We'll be back.
And the Admirals have jumped up on the Claymores, but pros or cons? Do we go for the field goal or look for try to get the TD?
I really thought he was going to go for the touchdown on that one and just leave those big guys in and pound it in, because when you're down, I mean, you can see the weight, but when you're down, when you're coming off a couple losses in a row, you'd really like to make that through and sort of give your team the emotional lift.
David, while you know that was happening, and you were saying there might be a possibility that they might try to go for the touchdown, you were saying a play-action pass. So when you're on the defensive line, are you guessing plays, or do you just play it for what it is?
You have to guess a little bit. That comes into it, but from film, when it comes to where they can't bust it in, they're going to come with the play-action pass. As a defensive lineman, you see these big guys and they're tilting forward. You're thinking pass or run, and then they pop it in there with a pass.
All right, now on that, you know, the goal line stands. You have a lot of bodies down there. Is that one of the toughest situations to play defense in?
To me, it's the funnest. I love it when we get in the goal line, short yardage. It's grit on grit. You know, who's the toughest.
All right, now T.C. Wright has seemed to come alive. Played well against the Claymores, the Monarchs the first time that they beat them. Didn't really show up last week, but he seems to be instrumental in their offense right now.
And what makes T.C. Wright good in the situation like when you're going from a shotgun formation is that he's the kind of runner who will pick a hole if he gets that first block and gets through. He's great on draw plays for that reason. He's really quick to move to a hole. So he's useful if you're going to have to run from the shotgun. Plus, he's a good receiver out of the backfield.
And it seems the defense of the Admirals has picked up. You know, what did the coaching staff do in a week like this when you get beat up like they did last week against the Monarchs?
Scream at you a lot. That's always a good one to get you motivated. Yeah, you know, they came off the loss and they need the win if they want to still be in the hunt.
Right now, it looks like their defensive backfield and linebackers are concentrating on the coverage, try to take a little pressure off the line. Seems to be working.
And they're playing very aggressive football. Let's return back to Amsterdam.
Al Luganville going for the field goal, despite the fact his team was on the 1-yard line, and it harkens back to something you told us yesterday, Bill, and that is that it's getting harder and harder to score in this league. He may just be thinking, put the points up, whatever they may be.
He'll take anything he can get at this point. He wants to give his offense some confidence.
Vinatieri, a short kick this time, picked up by the short man, and getting back across the 35 to about the 39-yard line.
And there it is. That tells you right there. Amsterdam Admirals, we said Jekyll and Hyde, 3-0 at home. Their record's 3-4, and all their games have been won at home. And you can see why they win games by the way they're playing right now.
Jared Cahill returned, I beg your pardon, returned that kick. Home sweet home.
And the fans know about it.
A good field position this time for the Claymores. They have not had the best of the field position battle in this ball game. Matthews on first down. Play fake. Will go up again, looking deep. And a little bumping going on. Unable to hold on was Yo Murphy. And Murphy usually manages to get balls that are in his hands. That would have been a tough chance, but well-thrown ball, actually, I thought, by Matthews.
The ball was on the money, and, you know, we talked to Yo Murphy yesterday, and he said, you know, he wants the ball more. And we talked to the offense coordinator, Jim Soker, and he said, you know, we want to try to give him the ball more. This is a good receiver. It's just that for some reason, Sean LaChapelle and Matthews have hooked up. They've binded together, and they've got all the yards. But they said he's equally as good as LaChapelle.
Second down and 10 now. Stacy, the lone setback. Slot left. Give to Stacy, left side. Stacy stopped immediately. And again, it's Rico Mack, who's having a career here.
Yeah, Rico Mack. He read his read. And what I mean by that, see the guard, number 79, Purvis Hunt, pull? Well, Rico Mack reads the pull and comes right in off his tail and makes the tackle in the backfield. And that's essential for linebackers. I mean, you can see so much back there at the linebacker position. You see the quarterback, you see the backs, but what you have to do is ISO on your reads, and that's what he did right there.
Ron Dickerson, a running back, comes into the ballgame but splits to the left side. Matthews rolls away from pressure, still under hot pursuit, throws over the middle and unable to hit the intended receiver, who was Bino Bryant. I beg your pardon, who was
Ron Dickerson out there in the flat. Yeah, he had a little pressure on him, Steve Matthew, and he rolled out to the flat, and he tries to get the ball off. But Ron Dickerson, it was just overthrown a little bit. You see Matthews step out of the pocket right there? Jim Hanna lost contained on that side. He gambled and came inside on Keith Wagner and lost contained, but it paid off.
Bryant now the deep man to receive this kick of McCallum, and he'll let it bounce, and it takes a sideways bounce and now bounces back the way of the Admirals and will be down at about the 33-yard line. Well, a reminder, the Scottish Claymores, they are already in the World Bowl. The question remains, who are they going to play? Well, the World Bowl will take place on Sunday the 23rd at 6 o'clock. British time, that is, of course. Murrayfield, Edinburgh, Scotland will be the site of the World Bowl. You've been up there a couple times.
Well, you see that question mark there? Amsterdam Admirals want to fill that question mark with their name in that slot.
So Will Fuhrer leads his team out of the shotgun once more at the 35-yard line with a first down. Fuhrer with time throws, and it is almost intercepted by George Coghill, who had a beat on it, and he was thinking touchdown.
Well, you know, this isn't typical Scottish Claymores defense that I've been seeing, or offense. There's 2 dropped interceptions by the Claymores. We saw David Wilson, number 25, step in front of the ball and had it in his hands and drop it, and George Coghill did the same then. And for the last 2 weeks against the Rhine Fire and last week against Frankfurt, I've seen the Scottish Claymores make a lot of mistakes. They're getting a little lax in their play, and it's showing here today.
Second down and 10 at the 35. Fuhrer once more. Now he's got to step away. Now he'll run. He's got some room, too. 35, 40, 45, midfield, 45, and out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. Somebody forgot about Fuhrer's ability to run.
Watch number 67, Brian Proby. He comes inside on Jerry Krafts. Now, Brian Proby is just back. This is the first game he's back from an injury, and he lost contain there. And Will Fuhrer has the ability to run. You see when he has a wide open field there and you lose contain on the quarterback, Will does a smart thing and pulls it down and picks himself up about 15 yards.
Biggest play of the ball game. Actually 21 yards on the play for Will Fuhrer. They give this time on a draw play for Wright, and Wright gets about 3.
You know, it only takes one time to make a mistake. Brian Proby lost contain and gave up that big yardage, and he's out now, and Herman Carroll's back in there.
Second down and 7 now. The ball at about the 42-yard line, just inside the 42-yard line.
Amsterdam with 100 yards so far. Nobody would have thought coming into this game that at this point they'd have 100 yards and Scotland 16.
They go up on 2nd and 7, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Bobo. Bobo, I was going to say that I'm sure the hand was bothering him there, and you saw when he came down, he took a good long look at it.
Yeah, he's looking at it, and Will Fuhr threw the heat there. If he was a pitcher, that was the heat. You see he has all the time in the pocket, and he steps up. You see Philip Bobo there come right in on a slant inside. And the ball's there, and it's thrown hard, but Phil Bobo, he has that hurt hand. Look, he looks at it right there. And he's still looking at it, picking grass out of it, or maybe pieces of the football. I don't know, it's thrown pretty hard.
Well, he's got a bad thumb, and then he also took 4 stitches next to his index finger. So that hand is a sore puppy. 3rd down and 7. Fuhrer floats this one out for Jones. He's out in front. He's got it at the 10, about the 7-yard line.
Well, Frank Robinson came up, and he had a man-to-man, and he had no safety help over the top. You're going to see right there Frank Robinson beat, and Will Fuhrer does a nice job of placing the ball outside by the hash mark so only Davy Jones could make that catch.
He must have heard you, too, because he really gunned the ball in the play prior to Bobo, and maybe he needed a little more touch. That time, just great touch.
Well, he said he wanted more time in this offense to feel more comfortable, and this is his 3rd or 4th week running it, so maybe he's feeling good now.
1st down and goal to go. The ball at the 7-yard line. They show blitz. Now they back out of it. Fuhrer will put it up again. In trouble. Now he steps up. Throws. Open. Touchdown. Darren Chandler on the reception. And he'll go about 90 yards the other way. That's probably faster than 100 meters was run in back in 1928 when they had the Olympics on this track.
Well, when Will Fuhrer scrambles for 15 yards and shows his ability to run, all of a sudden now that's a threat. And he was in the pocket. He almost pulled it down and ran. He acted like he was going to run, but he comes up to the line of scrimmage. And Darren Chandler does a nice job of finding an opening before Duckett lost his footing in the back of the end zone.
And the look that you saw on the Claymores sidelines a moment ago, a look of concern. Try for point is up and good, and just like that, it is a 10-0 ball game. So the Amsterdam Admirals getting it done both ways, offensively and defensively. They lead by 10, and we'll be back.
The Claymores are in the deep hole. I'm sure it's probably the sun that's affecting them. They're not used to it, huh?
Don't get much of that stuff up in Scotland.
Let's have a look at the replay and see what series, how it happened. Now, the first play here, the thing I'm noticing is what you talked about, Dave. There's no pressure on this quarterback.
Yeah, he's not getting much pressure right there, and the defensive backs, need all the help they can get with those receivers. Just, you can't stop them with that stuff without the rush.
And you can see on that one how the 2 patterns got Jones open. Is the man cutting across the middle, opened Jones up to cut outside. Now, in this one, what happens is when Fuhrer starts to run there, he gets a little pressure. This is when the receiver releases, and Duckett fell down when he released after the pressure. Oh, it's a broken pattern. Nothing you can do about that.
Bill, it's a very unusual position for this man, Jim Kreiner, head coach of the Scottish Claymores. He's not used to looking up from 10 down.
No, he's not used to it at all, and I'll tell you, it creates a problem because when number 12, Steve Matthews, has to win the game for you, that is a problem. They've done a fine job all year of protecting him by running the ball and choosing his passes off of play action. But when he has to throw the ball, he has 9 interceptions.
High end over end kick. There's going to be Marcus Thomas at about the 12-yard line. Gets back to 20, 25, got a little bit of room and stopped. Just as he got to the 30-yard line, maybe a little short of the 30, Pascal Davis on the tackle.
Well, here's the touchdown right here. See Will Fuhrer? He sets up in the pocket. Now, remember when he scrambled for 15? Right here, he pulls it down and starts heading up. Now, this creates a problem for the DBs because Forey Duckett fell to the left of your screen, and Davy Jones wide open. Darren Chandler, I'm sorry, wide open.
Well, Fuhrer came into the game as the #1 rated quarterback in the World League, and he's showing exactly why. And I must be honest, he didn't show it last week.
Well, that's part of the Jekyll and Hyde theory behind this team.
Getting up just a little bit slowly this time was number 51, and that, of course, is Emmett Waldron of the Scottish Claymores.
So you take a look there at the numbers. 9 yards for Matthews, and almost 100 for Will Fuhr. That sums up this game to this point. You know, and for Scotland, this is their 5th possession, and on the prior 4 possessions, all they've been able to do is punt.
And Sean LaChapelle has been a non-factor in this ballgame, and he was the guy, even more than Stacy, that Al Luganville felt that they had to take out of the game. Well, actually, they had done a pretty good job on both of them. Stacy right there, nothing. And I mean nothing.
Well, that's the defensive front. And you see who's in the middle there? See who came out of the pile? That's number 96, Troy Ridgely, who was cut by Scotland 3 weeks ago. Now, you don't think he wants to get back at these guys? He used to practice against his offensive line every day. Now he's got something to show. He said, hey, guys, remember me?
2nd down and 10 as the Claymores continue to fire blanks here. Slot left. Stacy the lone setback. 3 wideouts. Straight back Matthews. Look out. Hit as he throws. And Yo Murphy can't quite hang on inside the 30-yard line.
Right off the fingertips of Yo Murphy. The ball was placed well. Yo didn't have the speed to get underneath it, right off his fingertips. But watch the hit that Steve Matthews takes right here. He sets up in the pocket. Now he's left-handed. Now see Mike Evans there on his blind side? Matthews never saw it coming.
Matthews did a good job just to get the ball to Yo Murphy. Incidentally, I suppose we should tell the Yo story. The name is Llewellyn. Sister couldn't pronounce it when he was a little kid. She started calling him Yo-Yo, and it just ultimately got shortened to Yo. Again, going downfield this time for LaChapelle, and a little bit long, intended for the #1 receiver in this league. And for the 5th time, the Claymores have come up empty.
Well, Tommy Jones, number 34 there, drew coverage on Sean LaChapelle. And you see him, he's up close. He's got man-to-man coverage on him. He gets his hands on him to disrupt the timing. This is great coverage by Tommy Jones, and he's with him all the way. White on Rice. So, nice job by Tommy Jones.
And it makes it 5 times in a row now that the Claymores have been unable to get a first down. Short kick. Bino Bryant waits for the big hop and fields it very dangerously, and any coach in America will say, don't do that.
Field position is coming into play here for the Admirals. They've been getting the short field all the time, and the last 2 possessions they were able to capitalize on that. And Paul McCallum is a punter who earlier in the year, this guy was booming 65-yard punts, but he's lost it over the last couple of weeks, and he's had a hard time. And I talked to the coaches about it, and they said, you know what, a punter's rhythm is kind of like a golf swing, you know, and if it changes just a little bit, the whole game changes. And right now, he's in a little bit of a slump.
In his defense, you and I were down on the field before the game. There's kind of a swirling wind going on down there. It's not apparent from where we sit, but it is down on the field. Trips right this time on 1st down, and the give is to Wright. And Wright trying to get outside, and gets to the 40-yard line. It was Bino Bryant and not Wright. Bryant in the ballgame at a setback.
Remember I told you number 67, Brian Proby? Look at him at the right of your screen. Watch what he does here to Willie Williams. That's holding up the corner, folks. And he makes Bino Bryant bounce it a couple steps backwards and turn upfield. Result about a 1 or 1.5 yard gain. But hey, if it happens to you once and you lose that corner and you get chewed out on the sidelines, you can rest assured a good defensive line will come back and do the right thing, and that's what Brian Proby did right there.
They go slot left this time on 2nd down, and we'll call it 7. Bino Bryant, the lone setback. Everybody in the pattern. Fuhrer steps up, throws underneath, and another near interception that time by David Wilson.
Well, David Wilson could have jumped to the tie of the World League record there on that one as well. That was his 2nd interception today. He's dropped. But what he's doing is he's getting a great read on the slot receivers. And he's sitting there and he's waiting for Will Fuhrer to throw. He's just timing it perfectly to get there to break it up.
Wilson nickelback with 4 wideouts and a double slot now. Bryant continues to be the lone setback. 3rd down and 7. Fuhrer steps up, throwing deep, throwing for Chandler, too far. Corey Duckett just containing Darren Chandler. Chandler came out of Georgia Southern, where they throw the ball about once a millennium.
It must be a pleasure for him to be in this offense then.
That's right. He's probably seen more passes in this quarter and a half than he did in a career at Georgia Southern.
He says, you mean I get to run downfield and not block a safety?
That's right. So they'll punt it away, and a good kick is going to drive Gissendaner back inside the 20-yard line. He calls a fair catch at the 15. Excellent punt that time by Vinatieri. A reminder, WLAF action continues tomorrow here with Barcelona 3 up and 4 down against the London Monarchs. 3 up and 4 down, but the Monarchs playing pretty solid football right now.
Well, you see right there, there's 2 more teams at 3 and 4 in the mix with Amsterdam Admirals. And, you know, everybody's wanting to see what happens down in Rhine-Frankfurt today, because if Frankfurt loses to Rhine, you know, this whole thing becomes real interesting. It's going to be a race to the finish these next couple weeks. And as of right now, there's no score down in Frankfurt. Look at that right there. That's not usual for the Scottish Claymores offense.
Going up on first down, and the pass is caught by the man underneath, and that is the tight end, or rather it was it was the tight end, Willie Tate.
Well, that's who they've got to get into the action here. That's who they've got to get in the rotation. The last few weeks, they've neglected him. He only has like 11 catches on the year. And, you know, if your running game's not working and you can't get the ball downfield to big chunks with Yo Murphy and LaChapelle, hey, let's hit the underneath routes with Willie Tate.
So second down and short now, a little less than a yard. You saw Tate try to reach for the first down, but did not give it to him. And to give this time to Stacy on a pitch, and he's not going to get it. He might have lost a half a yard. And they've really done a good job containing Stacy.
Look at him. Look who's doing the strut out there on the field. 96, Troy Ridgely. He chased that down from the backside. He came underneath the guard's block and went parallel to the line of scrimmage and flattened out and chased down Surron Stacy. Like, he knew exactly what play was coming. I guess when you play with a team long enough, you get used to their offense. He knew what play was coming. He said, go ahead, block that, guys. I'm going to step under here and make the play.
Claymores yet to convert a third down play. They're third and short now, a little bit less than a yard. And the give again is to Stacy, and he's going to be close, and it's going to depend on the spot. I'm not sure that he got it.
You know, I alluded to earlier in the game, I said, if you want to beat, they have a first down there. Scotland gains the first down, barely. But if you want to beat the Claymores, you've got to beat them up, because their whole game all season long has been physical domination on both sides of the ball. But tonight is a different story. The Amsterdam Admirals are saying, hey, we're tired of it, guys. And they're coming out, and they're punching them right in the mouth. And they're going to meet them, and they're going to try to intimidate them and make them work for every inch they get. That's how you beat the Scottish Claymores.
Well, they have taken the 2 big guns out of the offense. LaChapelle and Stacy have been non-factors in the game. First down, Matthews will go up again, looking for Yo Murphy. Throws instead underneath, and it was LaChapelle who makes the catch. 2 guys in the same area. I have an idea that's not exactly the way that was drawn up.
Well, what I think Steve Matthews did there, he just waited a little longer than usual, and LaChapelle just had to keep going with his route because there was somebody right behind him, so he had to take it all the way to the sidelines.
Second down and short now. They bring LaChapelle in the slot inside of Murphy and go out of the I formation. Play fake, and Matthews will throw. Throws for Stacy out of the backfield. It's probably just as well that he dropped the ball, to tell you the truth. He was about to be beheaded, I think.
We know I alluded to their last 2 weeks, and Scotland has, you know, shown signs of being lackadaisical. And there it is right there. You should catch that ball and turn upfield. First of all, the ball wasn't thrown real well. It should have been out in front of him, so your running back can just turn upfield and keep going. And secondly, Surron Stacy should have made the catch. There's no excuse for that.
Third down and short now. Same situation they were in the last time. And Matthews going to throw on third down. And now he's going to run, and he'll have the first down and a little bit more. And gets out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Luganville's yelling for holding here. I just think Matthews got outside the contain.
Quickly, too, and, you know, that's one of the things that Steve Matthews needs to work on. And he did right there the right thing. It was third and short. He set up. He didn't see anybody right away, but he saw an opening. He knew he could run the ball. Just because a pass play is called doesn't necessarily mean you have to pass the ball.
Well, we talked about the fact that Matthews really has not had a lot of playing time, and he's trying to get reps, trying to get time, and he's done all of that this year. Plus, his team's in first place. Big rush, down goes Matthews, and a huge loss. And wide open over here was Willie Tate all by himself, but Matthews didn't even have a chance to look up.
Big rush by Jim Hanna. Watch him. He comes in the middle of your screen. He gets bounced around inside, and all of a sudden pops clear. And as any good defensive lineman does, Barry, when you get around the quarterback, you make sure you bring him down.
So a loss of 10, and that could have been a big play if Matthews was only able to look up. Willie Tate had snuck out of the back row, snuck off the tight end spot, unchecked by Rico Mack. Instead, 2nd and 20. Matthews straight back. Rush comes. Matthews steps up. In trouble. Down he goes again. Loss of about a yard. That should constitute another sack.
Bobby Hamilton. He was plagued by injuries. Didn't get to start tonight. Jim Hanna started for him, but you're going to see him right there to the right of your screen. Watch him come around. James Spencer takes him upfield. When you get to the level of the quarterback, you turn back inside, and he does. And as he turns back inside, Steve Matthews was stepping up in the pocket.
Well, we talked about perhaps the key unit in this ballgame, the offensive line of the Scottish Claymores, and so far tonight, they are getting their hats handed to them by the defensive down 4 of the Admirals. Matthews straight back on 3rd and a whole bunch, throws over the middle, caught by Tate, first down. Big play at the 46-yard line.
Well, I said you're going to have to get Willie Tate into the mix of things, and they've neglected him for the last few weeks. But you're going to see him right here run a nice route. He runs down the seam. And when he gets past the first down marker, he turns inside underneath the safety. See him right there? Right in front of Robert O'Neill. Enough for the first down.
Interesting to see now. They being the Admirals, had taken away the deep outside routes. And now the Claymores starting to come back over the middle to the tight end. And in fact, the fullback was in that pattern too. Split backs on first down. That was a very big play on 3rd and a whole bunch. Tate goes in motion to the far side. And Matthews will go up again. Steps up over the middle once more, in and out of the hands of LaChapelle.
How about the big hit by Rico Mack? LaChapelle, they call him a zone buster. Right there, he sits down in front of the safety and behind the linebacker. But as the ball was thrown, Rico Mack closed on it. Take a look here. Nice protection up front. Steve Matthews has all day in a nice passing lane. Fires the ball. Now watch Rico Mack close. Bang, right there, knocks the ball out.
Rico Mack has had a big game, both down the field and on the rush at the line and at the line of scrimmage from Appalachia State. Missed the 2-minute warning, and with that, we'll jump off the track to the Amsterdam Admirals 10 and the Scotland Claymores nothing. Barry Tompkins, Bill Moss back at Olympic Stadium in Amsterdam. The Battle of Germany is going on in Frankfurt, and that's a pretty good ball game too. They call it the Derby, and so far the home team, Bill, getting the job done.
Yeah, Frankfurt's up right now in the second quarter, 13-0.
Meanwhile, with 2 minutes left in the half, this is a very big sequence for the Scottish Claymores. Saran Stacey gets about 3 on 2nd down and 10, so it's going to bring about a 3rd down and 7. This drive started to be a little more Claymore-like.
Well, they're starting to move the ball, and they've had to use other avenues. You saw they had to go to Willie Tate twice on this drive.
And coming back over the middle a lot with their passes now, not trying to go to the outside too much. Here comes the blitz, and Matthews rolls away from it. Now he buys himself a lot of time. Flag is down, should be a hold. Pass is incomplete down at the 28-yard line. My guess is that this is going to be a hold against Purvis Hunt, or possibly Keith Wagner. It might have been Keith Wagner. And my guess is further that if it is a hold, it'll be refused.
I'll tell you, the front four for Amsterdam against the run, they've been establishing a new line of scrimmage. And unfortunately for Scotland, it's been in their backfield.
Holding. Number 78 of the offense. But penalties decline. Incomplete pass. 4th down.
Watch the front four come off the ball. You see 98 right there? And then Rico Mack. I mean, these guys are just blowing into the backfield.
They brought a safety that time, too. Robert O'Neill was on the blitz. Still, Matthews managed to get out of there, and great coverage with the blitz coming. So McCallum will come on, punt it away. And a fair catch signaled for. Now the ball is let go and almost down, but it goes into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20-yard line, and the Admirals will have it once again. Once again, let's take a look at the standings in the World League now. This, of course, is Week 8. The Scottish Claymores have now won 6-1, and with it won themselves a place in the World Bowl, and it will be played at their place in Edinburgh. So the Frankfurt Galaxy and the Amsterdam Admirals and the Barcelona Dragons and the London Monarchs and even the Rhine Fire are all in the battle to see who's going to form the other half of the World Bowl.
Yeah, and as of this point right now, you see Frankfurt and Amsterdam, they're in control of their own destinies. And both these teams are winning right now. So the matchup with Amsterdam and Frankfurt at the end of the season last game, that could be a big one.
Admirals leading 10-0 inside of 2 minutes, 1 minute and 13 seconds left. And a give to Bino Bryant. Bryant gets about 3, maybe 4 yards on first down. And I would have to think the Admirals will be a little bit conservative here.
Well, you know what's interesting is that they have a running game. I mean, they get 4 yards on that carry right there, and they couldn't get anything going in the previous 2 weeks.
Well, they go out of the shotgun once again. And they give it to Bino Bryant once again. And Bryant gets a little bit of a step. Bryant's got a lot of wiggles. Saw him several times at the University of Washington. He was plagued by injuries. Now the Admirals are going to take a timeout.
We take a look at the rushing yards here, and it's been, who would have expected that Amsterdam, as of this point right now, would outrush Scotland?
Well, they have really bottled up Saran Stacey. We're going to speak with him at halftime. First down ball at the 30-yard line. I thought they called a timeout, but apparently they did not. And they give it to Bryant once again. Bryant stutter steps inside, picks up a few more. Got about 3 with 4 seconds, 3, 2, and that's going to be the end of the first half. And an outstanding half on both sides of the ball by the Amsterdam Admirals. Now, whistles blow and hands wave, but it's still going to be nothing more than the end of the first half. And with the score 10-0, we will jump off the track, but the best half of football that Amsterdam has played in a couple of weeks. We're coming back.
Hey, we're at the half, and the Scottish Claymores are trailing the Amsterdam Admirals by a score of 10-0. Good half for the Admirals so far.
Real good. If the Admirals can gain 50 yards rushing in both halves of this game, they'll win.
All right, now, you know, we have one of the first TD of the game they scored was an exceptional drive by Amsterdam. A lot of it was via the pass.
And key plays on the drive were Fuhrer scrambling and then the big pass to David Jones. And this is the touchdown to Chandler. And again, it's the scramble that set up the play, because when he looks to run here, this freezes the defensive backs. And this is how Chandler breaks his pattern and gets open.
Yeah, Dave, one quick question on that. What can the Claymores do in the second half to put more pressure on Will Fuhrer?
We're going to expect more blitzing from the linebackers. That's what I would guess.
Okay, now we go back to the offensive side for the Claymores. We talked early in the game about the other players that might need to step up. They've tried numerous passes to Yo Murphy, been incomplete. Really haven't gone to Scott Cooper, but they've been able to find Willie Tate a couple of times.
Yeah, and the big play to Willie Tate, which we'll take a look at, shows you what a tight end can do when he's playing really well. So if we look down, you'll see Willie Tate is lined up on the end of the line, and he's going to come off if we've got the right play and just go straight through the seam, and the ball will come to him. So let's take a look. Right down the seam, and they're in the zone, Matthews has him all the way, and he sees him clear the linebacker you see in front of him and beating his man there, and that's the completion.
And I think one of the things that was also to key to that, that was probably some of the best blocking that they had for the pass offense this half.
Matthews needs to have time to throw. It's really important that they pass block for him. He's had to scramble a lot. He's had to rush his throws. And Yo Murphy, if the throws aren't rushed, Yo Murphy's got 2 long completions in this game.
So what will we look for the Claymores to do offensively, you think, more in the second half?
I think it would really help out the defense a lot if they kept time of possession with the offense and they controlled the game by moving the ball upfield, by running it and getting the ball to Willie Tate.
Oh, is anybody else besides Willie Tate you think that they need to get the ball to in the second half?
Hey, anybody is what they need to get the ball. I think they need to establish the running game as well. They've got to get Saran running from a 2-box set, and then they've got to get the ball to him coming out of the backfield if they can set it up. Now, when they're sitting back in the zone, we'll take a look at what happens when the play's not perfect and how a zone reacts to the passing right here. Now, you'll see them come off, and if we just start it running, you'll see them come down and take a look and watch the linebackers here. Stop it right there. You've got your linebacker there, the middle linebacker, Mack, and you've got your safety, Phillips, there. Watch how they react to LaChapelle, who's going to be coming in this way, and what they do to stop the play. Phillips comes up quick, and then Mack gives the second hit, and he loses the ball. And that's good zone coverage. Nothing you can do about that.
Hey, and that was a tough hit by Rico Mack, who's playing outstanding football.
Barry Tompkins with Bill Moss. We are set to start the second half. The Amsterdam Admirals beating up on the Scottish Claymores. The Claymores, remember, already in the World Bowl. And the Admirals, I think it's fair to say, Bill, are winning it on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they are. And meanwhile, you know, down in Frankfurt, the game down there, I'd alluded to earlier, I said Frankfurt was up 13-0. Well, that was my fault. See, when we called down there, they told me in German. They said, "Der Frankfurt, der Beaten, der Dusseldorf." And I forgot that they say things backwards. It's actually Rhine on top. And they're on top 21-0.
Got your 21 and your 13 all confused there. And I hate when that happens. In fact, I think that's who Will Fuhrer was calling right there to catch up on the score. Steve Matthews and Jim Soker are having a little confab, and I think what they're talking about is, what are we going to do about this 66 yards? That is very much out of character.
Well, the Claymores having 14 rushing yards, and you're right, very much uncharacteristic of the Claymores offense. And the problem for them is now they're 10 points down, and they can't concentrate on a running game. They've got to air the ball out before they can get back to the ground game. You know, and that's where it's confrontational for him. Where number 12, Steve Matthews, he has 10 picks on the year, and when he has to win the ball game for him, things can be iffy.
What strikes me, too, is that there was nothing fluke about that first half. You know, sometimes strange plays and that sort of stuff. Look what happened to Saran Stacy and Sean LaChapelle. Maybe we should say, look what didn't happen.
Well, teams have been trying to figure out how to stop these two guys all year. I think Al Luganbill finally alluded to it. Hey, it's not the running back and it's not the wide receiver. It's the line. And if you go beat up their offensive line, these guys can't work. And that's what the Amsterdam Admirals front four defensively have been doing. They've been beating up Scotland's front offensive line.
Well, and they say, you know, don't leave the game. You mentioned this earlier, but Jim Kreiner told us, don't leave the hands in the game of the quarterback. Don't leave the game, I should say, in the hands of the quarterback, which is what they've had to do. But Amsterdam defensively has managed to put pressure on Steve Matthews also. I mean, they are covering all the bases. You would think if they took LaChapelle and Stacy out of the ballgame, which they have for all intent, that something would be open, but so far, Claymores haven't found it. Claymores will get the ball first to start the second half. And this is going to be Gissendaner at the 15, at the 20, at the 25. Almost lost the football, and that's exactly what the Claymores did not need. So Steve Matthews will have the ball in his hands once more, and things were a little bit open over the middle, but I think the most significant fact defensively for the Admirals, and as a former down lineman yourself, you'll appreciate it, I mean, they put some push on the quarterback.
They knew coming into the game it was on their shoulders, and they responded very well.
Claymore start at the 28-yard line with a first down. Half the field in shadow now, and that is a tough thing for a receiver looking back for the ball. Matthews throws a one-hopper intended for Yo Murphy.
Down and hurt.
And now things going from bad to worse as he was drilled once again. He's taking a real beating in general.
Watch as he releases the ball right here. And I'll be honest with you, that was a late hit. you're allowed a step and a half, and right there Jim Hanna had about 2.5 on him. The ball was out of his hand was down almost by his side when he got that blow.
It was a late hit, and it was right on the passing arm of Steve Matthews.
And they're feeling his shoulder right now. Boy, you hope it's not separated right there. We'll take a look. Now see Steve Matthews, he plants, and watch, the ball is out of his hands, and his hand is down by his side when he gets hit there. And that's a late hit.
And he is sitting up, but it does not look positive right at the moment.
Jim Ballard on the sidelines, number 13, warming up.
Well, he seems to be all right. Might have just been a stinger. Those kinds of things that broadcasters sort of pass off as nothing, and you players know what they feel like.
And we carry him with us the rest of our lives.
Well, we'll see if he'll be back or not. The backup quarterback is Jim Ballard. He's out of a small school, Mount Union, but Mount Union was Division III national champions when Jim Ballard was the quarterback there.
Jim Ballard missed a game 2 weeks ago. He flew home to Ohio and get married. Now watch right here. See, I didn't see them take a snap. And a lot of times when a new quarterback comes in or a new center comes in, there's always a miscommunication in the snap. It's a different feel down there.
And he's in a 2nd and 10 situation. They go up on 1st down. Swing out of the backfield. The ball is caught this time by Ron Dickerson. It's not going to get much, however. Good baptismal, however, for the new quarterback.
Steve's on the sideline, loosening back up, so nothing serious. And that's good news for Steve.
That was also the first snap of the year for Jim Ballard. So he's perfect.
He's 100%.
Yeah.
Come on out of the game.
He's gained 2 yards, actually a little less than 2, and Ballard now looking at a 3rd down and a long 8. Split backs behind him. LaChapelle near side and Murphy far side. Ballard straight back, rush comes, throws for LaChapelle, ball's caught, 1st down across midfield, across the 45, carrying Admirals with him to about the 42-yard line.
Well, just like Steve Matthews, he finds his main target, LaChapelle. And watch LaChapelle and Tommy Jones get some separation and splits the 2 defenders. And Ballard does a nice job of laying the ball in there. You know, he had the 2 DBs turned around.
And now LaChapelle comes off the field limping just a little bit. Sean's family in Sacramento, incidentally, gets to watch these games, but they don't get to watch them until the next night because they don't get FX in Sacramento. And so he has to have friends of the family tape the game, and then Mom and Dad get it. Does not appear to be a serious injury. Might have rolled an ankle or something, and he's having a little conversation with the trainer. I suspect we will see Sean LaChapelle back.
He's had that injury. His ankle's been bothering him for the last couple of weeks, but he's been playing on it.
We'll take a timeout. 13-14 remaining 3rd quarter. 10-0 Admirals.
Hey, the Claymore seem to be making a little run for it, but Ballard, the new quarterback, is doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, you know, when you have the hat on your head, wear it, and he came out gunning the ball, and he did really well. I just hope we can keep it up.
So what would he, I mean, at practice sessions, you know that Matthews would get most of the reps. What would be his job?
His job was basically to fill in. He was a 2nd-string quarterback, and he was always anxious to get in there. He has to keep up the offensive scheme, but he was like, going back to that question, he was always a little frustrated about sitting back, but now that he's in there, he's got a chance.
So what has impressed you about him so far?
He was frustrated last year at London. Remember, London got rid of him. Scotland picked him up the end of last year, and we saw right from the start he's got a good arm. Remember, he played at a small college, so he needs the experience of reading really good defenses. And he got down last year because every time he made a mistake, he was out of there. Now they leave him in. You see what he can do with his arm. Leave him in. Give him his chance. Let's see what he can do.
Well, while we're away, Steve Matthews is on the sideline throwing the ball and seemed to have a comfortable motion. And I heard him tell the trainer, I'm okay. But in the meantime, he's watching Jim Ballard, who's done a pretty good job in his 2 snaps, completing 2 passes. And he's got his team at the 42-yard line of Amsterdam. And he's going to go up again and throws for Tate. Underthrew that one. And a flag is down at about the 27-yard line. That might be holding against Amsterdam. I hate to guess, but sometimes that flag is dropped in an area.
Here, number 85, Willie Tate. Ballard sets up nice and finds his man, and he has Ed Stewart beat. Keith Franklin beat right here. Franklin gets a hand on him, tries to break up the play, but I don't know if they called that or not.
There's actually 2 flags. There's one down at about the 27-yard line.
That penalty is declined. Pass interference. Number 54 of the defense. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
So there was a hold and a pass interference.
And there's the culprit right there.
So a first down at about the 26-yard line, and a give to Dickerson is good for about 2.
I'll tell you what, Amsterdam Admirals defense is really putting some pressure on Scotland. The last 3 offensive snaps, I mean, the defensive backs are right up on the line of scrimmage, about 2 yards off the receiver. I mean, these guys are playing man-to-man on him, and they don't care. They're going to keep it coming after him. And there they go again.
Dickerson and Stacy, the setbacks behind Ballard. LaChapelle back in the ballgame, comes in motion. Ballard rolls, throws, caught by LaChapelle, first down. Well, they may say he was knocked out of bounds short of the first down. I think it might be a yard short of the first down from where the spot is, and it will be. But I'll tell you what, Ballard has his team moving very efficiently.
So see LaChapelle, what he did there is he came in motion to the inside to get the DBs turned around a little bit, and they just came up and ran a nice out pattern there for about 5 or 6 yards and a nice pickup. But when you're playing man-to-man defense and they're up smothering the ball like that, that's what you try to do, create a little motion or run some crossing routes or some picks to try to create separation.
They go out of the I formation, 3rd and short, pitch to Stacy. Stacy will have the first down, I believe, but it's going to depend on how generous the spot he gets. It's going to be close.
You know, Mike Evans has really been a factor in this game. Watch number 97 to the right of your screen. You see him out there? Watch what he does. He holds up that whole corner, then takes on the lead blocker, Dickerson, and that stuffs the whole thing up. We've called his number 97, several times today. He's been all over it.
And it is a first down, not by much, but it's a first down at the 14-yard line. And now let Ballard go, and why not? He's done a very good job so far. LaChapelle slots inside of Murphy to the left this time. Ballard will go upstairs once more. Looks to the end zone, deep end zone, and it's caught by LaChapelle for a touchdown. It is Yo Murphy. No, it is LaChapelle who made the catch.
Well, there they were in man-to-man coverage again. And when you get man-to-man coverage, Sean LaChapelle is the guy you want to go to. Watch him run this route. He's going to come into the left side of your screen. See the separation he creates right at the end? And then he uses his height to go up and get the ball.
Getting his body between the ball and the defender, too, and they were telling us he does that so well, and that's the reason they feel he can play at the next level. Try for point. On its way in the air and good. And let's give some credit to Jim Ballard, who hasn't thrown a pass in anger all year long, who drove this team for their first touchdown.
Yeah, watch Jim Ballard. He comes in 3rd quarter, and watch him standing there with some poise, and watch him deliver the hit. He sees the hit coming. Jim Hanna, again, the guy that put Steve Matthews out, he sees him coming right into his face, and he stands in there and takes the hit and delivers a nice pass. Watch LaChapelle, man-to-man coverage with Tommy Jones. Takes him up and then turns him around. And as he turns him around, Ballard throws a nice ball, throws it so where only Sean LaChapelle could catch it.
Ballard, prototypical size for an NFL quarterback. 6'3", 225 pounds. For LaChapelle, his 6th touchdown catch of the year, and that was a big one.
You know, and I think Jim Kreiner made the right decision by going with Ballard. You know, Steve Matthews was taking some shots back there, and he was getting rattled. And why have a guy in there who's injured and he's going to go back in and be protecting himself and worried about taking a hit? Ballard's in there, gets some new blood in there, and he goes down and marches the team downfield.
Come on now. Bend your knees. You got to bend your knees now. Yeah, on that short yardage, hit that sucker with everything you got.
Jim Kreiner talking coachees. Twisting kick this time. Headed for Theo Blanco, and Blanco gets back to about the 27-yard line, and that's where the Admirals will start.
Now comes the course of the game, Barry, where you find out what your team's made of. Okay, it's easy to be good when you're up by 10. And it's easy to rush the passer defensively, and it's easy to have some good momentum offensively, and things kind of happen. But now you have a three-point ball game, and everything you do is crucial to the outcome. It's interesting to see what's going to happen here with Amsterdam.
I was just going to say, this is an important possession, I think, for Amsterdam. Mo has shifted a little bit toward the Claymores sideline. They give on a little bit of a delay this time. And Claymores came away with the ball, and they're saying, we got it, but the officials are saying, oh, no, you don't.
One of the things Amsterdam wants to do is run with 5 men in the box. And what that is it's 4 defensive linemen and 1 backer. And the reason there's only 5 in the box here is because they have nickel situation. They bring in 6 DBs with the 4 wide receivers. So they should be able to have the matchup and be able to win the war up front, but right there they didn't.
And it was T.C. Wright who carried the ball, incidentally, and Wright did not play for the last part of the first half. It was Ben O'Brien at the setback spot, so T.C. is obviously all right. Good pressure on Fuhrer that time, but the pass is away. It is caught by Chandler for a first down. Will Fuhrer out of Virginia Tech.
Feeling more comfortable every week, it seems, in this offense. Has some good numbers today, and the big thing is there's no interceptions. Last week, he threw about 4 interceptions, and that was a lot of the problems. Plus, they couldn't run the ball. Today, they're doing a little bit of everything.
4 interceptions and a couple of should have been interceptions. Double slot once again. T.C. Wright, the lone setback as the sun starts to set here on Olympic Stadium. Fuhrer steps up in trouble. Down he goes. First sack of the ball game, and Gerald Jeffcoat.
And that's what Scotland has been doing all year long. He's been getting at the quarterback. You watch number 99 on the center there. That's Gerald Jeffcoat. He comes up and he has to spin. He comes back inside and he sees Will Fuhrer stepping up. And he had Don Willis in there. Don Willis, the center, has a bad ankle and he didn't start. So what he did with him is he worked him a little bit. See, as a defensive lineman, you got a bag of tricks. And right there, he used a little movement and a spin move to keep Don Willis in check with his bad foot.
So second down, about 15 now. Again out of the shotgun. 4-man rush. Fuhrer with time. Throws. Bobo on the comeback. Short of the first down by about 3, maybe 4 yards at about the 47-yard line. James Williams wasn't about to let him go any further.
Well, James Williams gave him the pattern, and it was a little comeback. He takes him up. You see Williams playing off right there. And then he stops and comes around, and there's the ball. James Williams closes on it nice, but it's a catch. And that's important because Amsterdam needs that momentum to keep things moving. In the past, Will Fuhrer, there's no telling where that ball could have gone. It was a nice throw.
Big play here, 3rd down and 3. And again, they'll go out of the shotgun with T.C. Wright, the lone setback. And Fuhrer's going to throw for it. It's batted in the air at the line of scrimmage, and the Admirals will have to give it up. Ty Parton with a big-time play. Just got the hands up.
Yeah, Ty Parton has really been a force for this defense the last couple weeks. And we haven't called his number much today, and we haven't called many of the Claymores numbers. But there, as the momentum's starting to change here a little bit, they're getting a little life. You see number 95 in the middle of your screen? He jacks up Willie Williams and gets his hand up. See, you press the pocket down, and if you can't get to the quarterback, then get in his face and get your hands up. And that's what Ty does there.
Twisting kick this time, and this is going to be Gissendaner back at about the 8-yard line. Slips by the first man, but is stopped as he crosses the 15 to the 16, a return of about 8 yards. And now the Scottish Claymores in a situation where they can do a little bit of business, and they will do so, apparently, with their backup quarterback, Jim Ballard.
And we have a football game on our hands now.
So smooth.
I have a question. One of the things is Ballard came in, did an excellent job for Matthews. Do they stay with him or do they go back with the first-string quarterback?
That is a good question. I'm glad I'm not a coach. Right now, I'd stay with Ballard. Just let him in. He seems to have a good feel for the game. Leave him in and see what happens.
You know, when you're looking at that from a player's point of view, which one would you like right now to be in the game?
If it's working, don't stop it.
All right, so let's have a look at the touchdown play.
And the big thing on this play is Jim Ballard standing in against the rush while LaChapelle gets open. You see he gets pretty good protection, but on the second rush, Hannah's going to get to him, and Ballard just stands in, throws the ball up, and you know that when Sean LaChapelle goes up one-on-one for a ball like that, he's going to get it. Now, watch here. If we can just see, Ballard will drop back now. And if we stop it right here, whoa, or move it really fast, as the case may be.
Let's just bring it back and start it again.
Jim Hanna's going to come from here. He's been pushed outside by James Spencer, who remembers a backup, and he's in. Now, there comes Jim Hanna. Watch Ballard. He sees Hanna's coming, but he still gets the ball away. LaChapelle's got the step, and the ball's perfectly thrown to keep him in stride. And when you're a receiver, what you know is if you've got your body between the defender and the ball, you should catch the ball every time.
One of the things that we had to see also, once they scored, Claymore's defense came back out much more inspired.
It's very crucial. The Claymores finally have control of the game. They scored on offense, and they got the defense went in and got out.
All right, now, big thing, momentum. Claymore seems to have established it. Will they be able to keep it?
Well, that's the big question, but I think that's why you stay with Ballard to do it. It's not that Matthews is doing anything wrong necessarily. It's simply that he's the guy who's making things happen right now. So, like Dave said, if it ain't broke, don't bother to fix it.
Well, dusk started to settle into Amsterdam Stadium, although we expect that the sun will stay up until after this ballgame. It doesn't really get dark here until about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. However, the sun is getting lower, and I really think the team that is going from our right to our left, the way Amsterdam is going right now in the fourth quarter, is going to have a heck of a time looking back into the sun to try to catch a pass. Meanwhile, Ballard at quarterback going up for LaChapelle as the catch out in front. Going to be a foot race midfield to the 40, to the 30, and down at the 20-yard line. And you cannot do that any better than that.
Well, I said it was a good call by leaving Jim Ballard in, and I'm not sure what his percentage is, but I think he's only dropped one. He has some nice time in the pocket. You see him set up, and he finds Sean LaChapelle. Right here again, he drew man-to-man coverage, and he had no safety help on Kelly Sims. And he gets behind him, and you see it's a foot race. What Sean LaChapelle can do is create separation and find an opening. You'll see here from a different angle. So Steve Matthews isn't the only guy that likes to go to LaChapelle. When the game's on the line, this guy has an innate ability to make things happen. He'll find a little flaw or a little hitch in something that the defender's doing. He studies the game very hard. And he'll utilize it as he did in that situation right there and as he did on his touchdown.
63 yards on my abacus, and that would make Ballard. Now, that's not a bad line. 514 yards and a touch. Jim Kreiner.
Oh, there Jim Kreiner goes over and tells him, well, what are you going to tell him? Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing.
You're doing just fine. LaChapelle now making himself a factor. Over 100 yards in pass receptions and the touchdown, and that was not an easy catch. A player like LaChapelle is just going to surface at some point. You keep him down for a while, which the Admirals did, but all of a sudden rearing his ugly head. First down, and a give to Stacy. A reverse this time for Gissendaner. He's got all kinds of blocking.
He's got
20,
a touchdown.
to the 10, to the 5, touchdown!
Well, they saved the secret weapon for a certain time. And I've been hearing now for about 4 weeks, you know, some way we've got to get Lee Gissendaner the football in our offense. And they really sell this thing. They run the play that they're noted for. The 27 power O to Stacy outside, but then coming back out of the receiver position is Gissendaner. And they caught the Admirals over pursuing. Their defense has been very hungry, and they over pursue, and here comes Lee Gissendaner out the back door.
2 plays, 84 yards, and the conversion and the lead. And in the space of about 2.5 minutes, the complexion of this game has changed entirely.
Yeah, but the Amsterdam Admirals can't get down over this. I mean, they have to understand what happened. I mean, they're playing aggressive defense. That's been doing a heck of a job for them. Right here, they get tricked on a trick play. And as a defender, there's nothing more than a guy hates it getting beat by being over-aggressive. I mean, as a defender, you're taught to be aggressive. And here, the whole defense is over on the right side of the screen, chasing around Stacy.
And a nice finishing block by Tom Barnt just to get Gissendaner into the end zone.
And understand that the things they've been doing today, Amsterdam, they've been doing well. and they have to step out of the frame to take a look at the picture. I mean, yeah, the score indicates they have a 4-point lead, but they've been winning this ball game and winning the numbers by what they're doing. So stay with it. Don't get down. I saw the guys, look at their heads are down.
And you know it is. Play the damn defense, and it'll work. All right? Shit! We got a chance to win this son of a bitch, and you're giving it up. It ain't all right, Bob. It ain't all right, Kelly. Now let's get going.
Is Pat O'Brien available to play the part of Al Luganville? I already did Newt Rockman. This is Bean O'Brien on a return, and he's going backwards.
I've been in that situation before, Barry, and believe me, it's no fun. And what he was so upset about is play the defense call. You know, they had guys over pursuing. You know, everybody's trying to make something happen. And that's what it gets a coach upset.
2 plays, 84 yards. 63-yard pass and a 21-yard reverse. And Will Fuhrer once more will try to get things level. He'll go up on first down. Now he runs out of time, and that's a coverage sack right there.
Well, you're exactly right. There's some excellent coverage downfield. There was a man on every receiver, and Will Fuhrer really didn't have a chance there. And now you can see the Scottish Claymores needed a little shot of adrenaline, and their offense gave it to them. And they're starting to pick up the pace.
That's going to take the Admirals back to the 9-yard line. They've got to go all the way to the 27-yard line. Second down, 18. They cover the trips left this time. And Fuhrer rolling to his left. Now he has to step up, and the ball knocked loose. Scramble for it, and the Claymores got it. It is DeWitt who knocked the ball down.
Ball's going to be Scotland's on the 1-yard line.
DeWitt recovered it as well. I think he knocked it out of his hands and recovered the ball.
Well, Scotland was playing pretty flat throughout the better part of the first half. And then their offense gets in the end zone twice, and it gives them new life. Look at the agility and the athletic ability of John DeWitt. I mean, I talked about these guys, the defensive line, they're never on the ground. They're always standing up. And if you're up, you have a chance to make a play happen. And John DeWitt keeps his balance right there, swats the ball down, and then recovers it.
Well, they have just made all the plays here in the third quarter. First down, the ball at the 2-yard line. It is Stacy with the ball, and he will get to about the 1.5. Might have been stopped at the 2-yard line.
You know, as a defense, you know, during the course of the week, you get little credits for big plays. You know, if you get a fumble or sack, a tackle or whatever. Watch right here. DeWitt's going to get a bunch of little stickers this week. He keeps his balance. He comes in. He strips the ball, which is credited as a sack. And then he falls on it and makes a recovery. So you get extra bonus points.
And Parton doing a good job just to make sure Fuhrer didn't get a chance to scramble for the ball. He knocked him down and laid on top of him.
Repeat first down.
Now, if you didn't understand that, what he said was,
It sounded like the teacher on the Peanuts.
I think that's
Charlie Brown's teacher.
That's the guy who gave us the Frankfurt score, I think.
Space!
John DeWitt giving his offense a look-to-be-easy touchdown.
Damn right, you better.
They're trying to pretty incensed about something. I'm not quite sure what.
He needs to watch himself being out there on the field. That's a penalty in itself.
I mean, there was a 5-yard penalty assessed, which is going to bring the ball back to about the 8-yard line.
90 is an eligible number. No, you're wrong. 90 is an eligible number.
What happened is they're in big personnel, okay? And 98, Matt Storm, an offensive lineman and a tight end, comes into the game as a tight end. He doesn't have to report because he has a 90 number. He is a tight end. But the officials treated him as an offensive lineman and said he needed to report. And Kreiner's saying, no, he doesn't. He has a 90 number.
And if that's true, he was in the ballgame before as a tight end. I specifically noticed that. And so if it was a call that should have been made, it should have been made the last time.
Because he wears that number 98, he can come in and play tight end and not have to report.
But the penalty will stand, and it'll be first down and goal back to 7-yard line. In motion this time is LaChapelle, and straight back to pass is Ballard. Throws underneath, intended for Dickerson, and incomplete.
Ballard dropped his, well, incompleted his first pass of the afternoon since he's been in. And the offensive stats, look at the second half for Scotland. What a turnaround. Absolutely opposite of what happened to him in the first half.
And it all happened after Steve Matthews went down. I mean, that's where it started. So it'll be second down and goal to go from the 7. Little fade pattern for Yo Murphy. Goes up. Got it. Touchdown. Just that simple.
Nice play all the way around. Jim Ballard throws a beautiful ball. A nice fade, as you called it, and put some air under it is what it is. Fade pattern, and it just comes down to who goes up after the ball. And right at the very end, Yo Murphy, who the coaches have been praising all week, saying what a player he is, we need to get this guy the ball more, goes up and makes a nice grab.
Yeah, in fact, Jim Kreiner told us Yo Murphy is almost as good as Sean LaChapelle. He said when he goes up, he comes back with the ball. And that's exactly what happened there. Try for point now is on its way and good, but whistles blow and flags fall, and we'll get it all cleared up.
Give me that offensive team up here. Over. Get up here.
Al, that's the voice of Al Luganbill, and he sounds absolutely thrilled to be here.
I can tell you who's not thrilled. Is that offensive team that's gathered around him right now.
75 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the try.
You fucking quit.
Hey, it's cable television, right?
Now, it's a good thing we're on cable television because Al is just chewing some bud over there, and the players are getting a shower. Al's yelling, spitting on them.
Gavin Hastings converts despite the penalty, and it is all going away to the Scottish Claymores now, as they have now jumped on top of the Amsterdam Admirals by a 21-10 count. 5:37 remaining, third quarter.
Hey, our producer said what a difference a half makes, but I think it's has something to do with the sun. When the sun went down, the Claymores felt at home again.
Right? That's right. Got a little cool.
But the first TD that came up, Lee, a nice little reverse
Don't
run.
Even try it.
Yeah.
Don't even try it.
I'll let you handle that.
Lee Gissendaner on the reverse. It's a great little reverse, and you're going to see it here. What makes it work, as you say, now watch, Saran Stacey gets the ball, Gissendaner on the reverse. They come around, and now stop it right there. Watch this guy. Number 13, Jim Ballard. We said, let's leave him in and see what he does. Now, he doesn't just throw the ball, but watch the block he throws.
We made the decision to leave him in.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was our call. And watch Ballard. He's looking for somebody now. It's not like he's just going through the motions. And there it is. Robert O'Neill cuts him down with a perfect crossbody. And 71, Tom Barnes, who you saw just in your screen, he was 20 yards downfield looking for the block at the point where the guys actually exchanged the ball. So he was down there set up. James Spencer was there, Barnes was there, so they had a little wall, and then there's Ballard coming through to pick up anyone who gets through.
Then the defense comes in, they take over, excellent job on recovering the fumble.
Well, the offensive unit has obviously been stimulated, and I think with that, it also stimulated the whole team as a whole.
Now, you're a defensive end, so what does John DeWitt do here?
Well, he has a great athletic move right here. He doesn't even get chopped. He just holds himself up and gets a hand on the ball and gets the fumble recovered.
And nice tackle by Ty Parton, who makes sure that Führer's pancaked into the ground. He's not going to get the ball back.
And they come up with the play, and then they run a couple plays, and then they find my man, Yo Murphy.
And it looked like they were going back, and we kept saying, hit Yo Murphy sometime. And Ballard's looking for him all the way and just floats the ball up. But it's a good float because it leads him, and he can keep moving. He doesn't have to jump stationary with the defensive back. He keeps moving backwards. That gives him the advantage over the defensive back because he's moving with the ball.
The second touchdown that they've scored in that area of the end zone also. Let's return back to Amsterdam.
Not a happy camper, Al Lugan, but what comes after gnashing your teeth and gnashing your gums? I don't know. What is he down to?
I'm not sure, but he's going to need some cough drops after the game. He's been yelling, and he has a right to yell because he has seen this team quit on him before. And right now, if they get down, if they get their daubers down and quit, they're going to be out of World Bowl race.
It's going to be Blanco on the kick at the 10-yard line, to the 20, to the 30-yard line, almost broken. Got across the 30 to the 34. Well, here's what's happened to the Scottish Claymores. It takes strange things sometimes to be a catalyst for a football team, and Steve Matthews, and you hate to see any player go down, especially a quarterback, but Matthews goes down, and all of a sudden a fire is lit under this team.
Well, yeah, and it really happened, I think, at halftime. You know, they went into halftime, and I think Kreiner did a little bit of what he's doing right there.
Both coaches of the fire and brimstone order. Fuhrer will put it up, throws, and one hops it, intended for Chandler at midfield.
And Amsterdam Admirals have an offensive player down on the ground. And the way injuries have gone for them this year, they can ill afford to lose another player.
And that, I don't want to speculate what that might be. Well, if you are just joining us here on FX or on Sky here in Europe, here are the standings in the World League of American Football, and the team we're watching, the Scottish Claymores, trying to make it 7-1. Now the Frankfurt Galaxy and the Rhine Fire are playing each other right now, and remember when last we heard, Rhine Fire was ahead of Frankfurt 21-0. So things will change there. Amsterdam 3-4, and right now, looking up the Scottish Claymores, things will change there. Barcelona's still in it, of course. London is still in it. London could make a pretty good case for being one of the better teams in the league right at the moment. And there you see, 28-0 now.
Wow. And that will put Frankfurt at 4-4, and one of these teams is going to step up. Early on, it looked like it could be Amsterdam. If they were 4-4, they'd be right back in the thick of things. And then tomorrow's game, of course, both those teams are 3-4, and the winner of that could emerge.
Donald Willis is the injured player. He came into the ball game, remember, with an injury. And that game that you spoke of tomorrow between Barcelona and London, which now becomes a very important game, will be on right here. Willis had an ankle injury coming into the game, obviously aggravated that. 2nd down and 10 now for Will Fuhrer. Out of the shotgun once again. Throws for Bobo, makes the catch short of the first down at the 41-yard line.
Well, yeah, go back to your main guy. Go back to the guy that gets you all the yards, and that's Bobo. And right here, you see Will Fuhrer has time, sets up nice, finds his man, and throws the ball, makes a connection there. And they get an 8-yard gain. Now it's 3rd and 2.
They go out of the spread again. That's been the formation du jour. And they've had a whole bunch of them this year. Fuhrer will go up once again. With time, comes back over the middle, caught by Chandler. First down, midfield, 45, down to the 43-yard line.
Well, that was Darren Chandler. And what he did right there that was really nice was after he made the catch, he knew where the open field was. Now you're going to see him catch the ball. Fuhrer looks off to his second read. It was a nice job reading the field by Fuhrer. And then he spins to the open field. He knew he has before he ducked it on his inside, and he heads toward the sideline and picks up another 7 or 8 yards.
Ball at the 42-yard line of the Claymores. A give this time is to Bino Bryant, and Bryant got about 2 short of the 40-yard line.
There's a flag on the field right about the vicinity of where you would call holding.
We'll look at Al Luganville, and as soon as he sees that, he knows his team may have a problem again, and is going to go against Amsterdam.
Holding. Number 71 of the offense. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Repeat first down.
That's Mario Cristobal, who came in for Don Willis, who left with the injury.
But the numbers on Will Fuhrer, certainly not an embarrassing evening so far. Touchdown and no interceptions. Second half, very quiet though. And now looking at a first down and 20. They come with a blitz, and Fuhrer throwing deep. And it is incomplete intended, as they had two receivers there. David Jones was there, and so was Darren Chandler, and I'm not quite sure who that was intended for.
Well, both of them were deep routes. They sent him on goes. And he knew they drew man-to-man coverage, and he was going to air it out and try to hopefully have one of his receivers beat their man-to-man coverage. And you see Al Luganbill, he's like, can I get a break?
And the answer is no. Second down and 20 now. Again, double slot out of the shotgun. Fuhrer rolling left. Now he'll run midfield, 45. Head down to the 40-yard line, and he got back about 12. It'll be third down and 8.
Well, you know, for Will Fuhrer, he's just getting in a situation where he's been yelled at by the coach, their offense is chewed out, and he's got to lead by example. And right here he does that. He's got to find a way to move the team, and if everybody's covered, he's got to pull it down and run. And he picks up 12 of the yards they needed. They were second and 20, and it puts them in about third and 8.
Herman Carroll, starting defensive left end, came off limping for the Claymores. Third down and 8 now. Fuhrer throws, caught by Bobo, first down at the 30-yard line. Nice job by Bobo to hang on that time.
That was a nice job by Philip Bobo. See him at the bottom of your screen right here? He's a slant pattern to the inside. Diedrich Smith had the clearing route, and he cleared everybody out. And just enough for the first down.
It's a very big play. The Admirals need a confidence builder here. Really could use a drive. Numbers on Bobo. 4 catches for 49 yards. And a first down at the 30-yard line. One hopper on the snap. Fuhrer digs it out nicely, but now he's got no place to go, and that's grounding.
Joe O'Brien came storming up the middle, number 90, defensive lineman for the Scottish Claymores. See him right there on Mario Cristobal. Boy, that's jacking up a center. Then he throws him down and just applies the pressure to Will Fuhrer. Will Fuhrer has people all around him and throws the ball down. Now, if he was out of the pocket, he could throw that ball and it wouldn't be intentional grounded, but because he was in the pocket and he threw it and there wasn't a receiver around, then comes the penalty.
Every time you see a play like that, you smile. Yeah. D linemen are all alike, you know?
Yeah, and these guys smile too. You know, yesterday we were talking to their defense. Remember, Barry, and every time we talk to them about hitting or some of the big plays they make, they get this sinister look on their face. They're like, yeah.
Speaking of which, though, I was really impressed with the fact that these guys genuinely seem to care for each other. You know, it's one of those great intangibles of what composes a, quote, team. And whatever it is that does, these guys seem to have it.
An emphasis on team. Jim Kreiner, there's the call right there, intentional grounding. Jim Kreiner said, you know, he evaluates these guys as people first and then players. He said he cut a bunch of guys in training camp that have more talent so he could keep quality people around that are team guys. And if you talk to any of the players, they don't want to talk about themselves. They give credit to Ray Wilsey, Kreiner, the other players.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And that was to the number, and it was really unsolicited. First down and 20 again. Been there, done that. Fuhrer with time, throws, and nobody there. Diedrich Smith, closest man to it. Fuhrer took a shot right as he unloaded the ball.
Not sure what Will Fuhrer was looking at there. You're seeing number 99, Gerald Jeffcoat, come into the picture and just put a lick on Will Fuhrer right underneath his chin there as he throws that ball. And maybe that had something to do with that erratic throw, Barry.
Could have. Not far from pass interference, incidentally. As soon as you get that forearm up around the helmet, flirting with disaster. Second down and 20. They go play fake this time, and Fuhrer airs it out, got a man out in front, and unable to hang on was Chandler at the goal line.
Well, I'll tell you what Al's upset about, and I'll tell you what Darren Chandler's upset about is, oh, look at Al go. His Forey Duckett was beat, okay, and as the ball is thrown, he is beat, and he's just like putting his hands up in his face and doing anything he can do to distract. See, he's beat right there. Now watch him close right there. And just get his body in front. He's not making a play on the ball, and he's not defending the receiver.
Just to be devil's advocate, though, he didn't have his hands up, so it can't really be interpreted as face guarding. Bobo out in front. Touchdown, Admirals. Well, you don't get it one way, come back the other.
Nice play. Nice play and nice composure on the part of Will Fuhrer, Bobo, and the Amsterdam Admirals offense. You know, they see their coach on the sideline getting upset about a call which he thought should have been pass interference. And that could bring a team down when it's 2nd and 20. But Will didn't let them get down. You see Bobo right there? He's been running slant patterns all day long. And then he takes James Williams downfield and then heads for a post, the goal post.
I think Williams might have thought that there was another coverage on that time. You see him kind of point toward the safety saying, where are you? Try for point is up and good, and things once again get interesting. Been a very good ball game. Will Fuhrer's throwing his 2nd touchdown pass. Take a look. Yeah, I'll take that one.
And he's got his team right back in the game. He hasn't quit. And he's talking upstairs, offensive coordinator Joe Clark.
It's been a long 3rd quarter, hasn't it? A lot of scoring in his 3rd quarter. 21-17 ball game. We've had 4 touchdowns in this quarter. And there's still 57 seconds left.
And you know what I noticed? I look over the Amsterdam Admirals sidelines, and all the players are standing up now. You know, before when they came off earlier, you couldn't have anybody standing up. They're all sitting down the bench. Nobody wanted to get around Al Luganville. So they all went over to the bench and sat down. Now they're all up on their feet. See them?
I think, though, that's just because they're a moving target. You see, you can't get to all of them now.
But it's interesting that, you know, how emotional this team is, and it actually plays against them sometimes. And Al Luganville wouldn't be denied. He wouldn't let them slip down into the tank. He got in their face and said, no way. You know, guys aren't going to do it to me again.
And you got to admire Will Fuhrer, too, as you said. He just kind of hung in there. He's playing his game. Let what goes on the sideline go on, and I'll take care of business. And he did just that. This is Gissendaner on the return at the 20, and he is whacked as he gets to the 25-yard line by Robert O'Neill.
Yeah, it's Robert O'Neill, and he was a safety. And I think he was getting a little revenge there on the fact that he was a safety that got beaten over pursued on that Lee Gissendaner reverse. So he wanted to get a little payback there.
So Jim Ballard will come back into the ball game now. Allocated player from Cincinnati out of Mount Union College. And look at the numbers on Ballard and the numbers on the starter, Matthews, who had a tough time. It was under siege much of the day.
You know, Ballard was the starting quarterback early in camp down in Atlanta.
He's got good size, I'll say that. Straight back he goes on 1st down. Has time. Throwing deep. Too tall that time. Intended for Yo Murphy. Murphy had a little bit of room, but Ballard couldn't quite get the ball to it.
Just overthrew him a little bit right there. You know, Yo Murphy ran a nice route.
There's a look at Jim Ballard and the numbers on him, and he's still a young quarterback, one of those guys that you have an idea might be able to hang around the National Football League a little bit.
You could tell Kreiner had no problem going to him and keeping him in there.
Also perfect guy for this league. Play fake and an inside handoff this time to the fullback, Kai Hollow. And fists fly. Kelly Sims and Sean LaChapelle.
You see him, they're getting a little fisticuffs down there.
Kelly's not beyond doing a little woofing.
Well, what it is Sean LaChapelle is such a good blocker. He's down there blocking the safeties in the corners, and they're getting a little upset about it.
And with that, the 3rd quarter has come to an end, and it was nothing if not exciting. 4 touchdowns, and it's a 4-point game. 21-17, Scotland.
Hey, you asked for it, we got it. We have an excellent football game here. But the one thing I hope Al Luganville doesn't have high blood pressure.
He does have high blood pressure. Yeah. Better hope his head stays on.
But the guy who I'm sure who helped to relax it was Philip Bobo.
And that's good catch by Philip Bobo. Big pass by Will Fuhrer. This gets Amsterdam back in the game and puts a little momentum, lifts their heads up, basically, is what. Now let's take a look. And the question was what coverage Scotland was in, because if you watch James Williams, it looks like he was looking to the middle. He was letting him go through to the middle because he thought he was going to have help from the safety, but the safety was up and Williams was back. So I'm not sure, Dave, but in a zone?
I couldn't tell you.
Come on, let's get the diplomacy over here in the house.
I don't know. That's a whole new ballgame.
What those guys behind me, I don't see what goes on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Dave doesn't want to say anything, but I'll say we're getting ready to go back to Amsterdam. Let's stay with us. This is an excellent football game. Back over to the stadium.
Well, Bill, I don't know. It might be time for the Admirals to go for the good luck charm here.
I'll tell you, the lucky chicken. See, the Amsterdam Admirals all last year when they were 9-1, there was a chicken walking around the field. And the first 3 games of the year, that chicken was walking around the field. Well, that chicken left. They haven't seen it. But this week, the players said they saw the chicken back at practice.
First 7 weeks, it flew the coop. Straight back to pass once again. Ballard throws, little comebacker, and the ball is caught once more by LaChapelle, and that's going to move the sticks.
Watch LaChapelle right here. Watch him work the DBs. See, he has 2 of them on him, and he knows exactly where they are, and he knows exactly where to stop and turn. Sean LaChapelle is a student of the game. He studies it. He studies every aspect of the game and the person he's playing against.
Every one of the coaches says this guy has got to be playing at the next level. Was hurt last year. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Here's that inside handoff to the fullback once again. Kihilo, and Kihilo gets it across the 40-yard line to the 41. And interesting to me, offensively, the Claymores giving the Admirals a very different look here in the second half.
Completely different. It looks like something they drew up on the sideline they thought could work. You know, they're trapping the other way. And what I mean by trapping is they pull one of the guards. And usually they trap to their right, but now they're coming back and they're trapping to the left, and they're using a fullback. It's a fullback trap, and they're not handing the ball to Stacy.
They've had a little trouble with the fullbacks holding on to the football this year. That was something Jim Kreiner was talking to us about yesterday. Not so far today. 2nd down and 5.
Pass.
Blitz comes. Ballard unloads. Ball is caught by Tate. 1st down at the 45-yard line. Claymore's really clicking right now.
And it's funny to see that they're using the other avenues. You know, I always wondered with Claymores, hey, if you take away 27 and 88, you know, what do they have? And they're showing you. They go to the fullback, and then they're getting a tight end in the mix of things. Yo Murphy has a touchdown. You know, so they're showing you that they don't only have 2 guys offensively, they have other weapons.
And Ballard's really showing me something, too. He's showing me a very good touch when he needs to have a touch, and he's showing me a rifle arm when he needs to really gun it in there. 1st down at the 44. Here's that inside handoff to the fullback once again. A little misdirection. It gets about 2, maybe 3 on 1st down. Pascal Davis makes the stop. That's the old let them see it until they stop it.
Yeah. And, you know, they're getting 2 or 3 yards of carry. And that's not bad for them. But, you know, for Amsterdam, it's really good for them. Because look at the difference as opposed to last week. When they went against Vincent and the London Monarchs, they gave up 232 yards rushing. Tonight, only 50. So they've got to be happy with their performance thus far.
And you got to think they might be setting the table for Stacy, too. They're going away from him. They went on a reverse for a touchdown once. Ballard slips, steps up, runs, has a little bit of room inside the 40 to the 39, and Rico Mack sticks him as he crosses the 40.
Great athletic ability shown right there by Rico Mack. He was running full speed towards him, then slams on the brake and wraps him up. Kind of like bulldog, calf roping, you know. Comes out there, grabs the calf, wraps him up. Now you have to tie 3 legs together real quick, Rico. 2 legs in the hand. See, that's called bulldogging in rodeo.
They didn't do much bulldogging where I was. Only doggies where I grew up with dachshunds. 3rd down and 5. Play fake pass. And Ballard will run. He's got all kinds of room. 35, 1st down. Great job. And he ran right around the defender, who I think was Jim Hanna.
It was Jim Hanna. Jim Hanna couldn't get away from the grips of James Spencer. You're going to see to your right side there, number 93. Watch. Spencer has him locked up, and Ballard just steps around him. And the receivers are covered. So he finds a little crease and takes it upfield for a 1st down. I mean, Jim Ballard's really showing you that, hey, he's capable of running this team.
Showed a lot of moxie, too. Knew exactly where he needed to get. Went feet first. 1st down at the 33-yard line. Split backs. Straight back Ballard on 1st down. with time. Waits for the clear out. Stacy can't hang on.
Second drop pass in the backfield by Stacy. Now you can see right where he caught the ball, though, the sun is coming right into his eyes. But I'm not sure if that's an excuse or not, but it hit him in a bad spot, maybe, the hands.
We talked about that sun. There it is. You can see it's low over the rim of the stadium, and when a receiver like Stacy looks back, that's what he sees.
That's what he's saying, and he can easily lose the ball in that. Boy, Ballard, how about those numbers on the day? And you know, Scottish Claymore's team has so much depth. I don't think any other team has that good at quarterback position, that much talent.
Going up again, going deep, got a man out in front. It is LaChapelle for the score. And once again, perfect execution.
Perfect execution. How about a perfect pass? Could that have been any sweeter? What touch by Ballard. Watch LaChapelle. Gets into him, gives his defender a little wiggle right there. That's Kelly Sims he beat.
He's lit Kelly Sims up today. I hate to say that, but he has.
And they say LaChapelle doesn't have any speed. The knock on him is he doesn't have any speed.
And he's a big guy, and there is a trend in the National Football League these days, and that is big wideouts. This one's blocked. Now remember, this could go the other way should the Admirals be able to pick it up and run it in.
They got to throw a flag on that. That was an intentional kick.
Right. And they do. Not a bad idea, though. Could have saved 2 points. Well, Ballard has made a pretty good stand for the fact that he might have to be considered from whence he came, and that is the starting quarterback.
Well, it's nice to have in your back pocket a quarterback that can come into the game under that situation. You know, the other 5 teams in this league, if their starting quarterback got hurt, they'd really be in trouble. Drastic drop-off. This, I mean, you're putting a guy in there that's very capable of being the starting quarterback on this team. And it's a good situation to have. For Steve Matthews, he's sitting on the sidelines thinking, well, let's take a look here at the touchdown first. And believe me, Steve Matthews is doing a little thinking. Watch this right here. Beautiful ball. Look at the air underneath it.
Let the receiver run under it. He did. LaChapelle scores, and it's a 10-point lead for Scotland.
An offensive explosion in Amsterdam right now. But I think probably one of the keys is that Ballard has been hitting a variety of receivers.
And we were talking about that while we were watching, and one of the things which we hadn't really thought of before, but Steve Matthews, because he's so quick moving against the rush, he gives himself more time, and when he does that, he always seems to go back to the same guys, looking for LaChapelle. But because Ballard is standing in against the rush, he's going to the guy who he should be going for. He sees the blitz coming, he looks for the first receiver out, which is, in one case, was Willie Tate on the sidelines, and then the touchdown is just a planned play that works to perfection. And go ahead, Dave.
Well, you can see that, you know, Ballard's refreshing change. He like you said, he's been changing the scheme of the offense up because he's been hitting other players, so that their defense has to focus on these other players, and it opened up Chappelle right there.
Right. And because they're outside, Kelly Sims one-on-one on LaChapelle, and he gets beat each time.
Barry Tompkins, Bill Moss, we're in Amsterdam watching the first place. Scottish Claymores leading the Amsterdam Admirals by 10. Time is not a factor, and it is by no means too late for the Admirals. Short end-over-end kick headed for Chandler at the 20-yard line, the 25 to the 30 to the 35. So good field position for the Admirals.
Boy, you hear some popping going on out there. We take a look here. Watch number 13, Jim Ballard. Look at the composure in the pocket. Watch him find his receiver. Of course, it's easy to have some good composure in the pocket when you have that good of protection around you. Look, not overly excited, just like, I knew it was coming.
Well, he's already done it 2 other times in this game. It's going to be old hat. 10 of 12, 3 touches, 174 yards. Don't have to look too far for the player of the game today. Here out of the shotgun on first down from the 35. Clear out over the middle, caught by Smith. Smith the 40, changed direction, and is down at the 41-yard line. It's amazing how that lateral stuff just doesn't work at this level, does it?
Well, that's what they're going to have to need to do to march down the field. Will Fuhrer has to just keep control of this offense. Don't go for the big long ball right away. Let's march the ball downfield. Let's take 5-6 yards a clip. Be patient.
They got 6 on first down. It'll be 2nd and 4. Double slot, and I think the center might have moved. We'll see. Ty Parton jumped across, but
he was a little anxious right there.
Encroachment. Number 95 of the defense. A 5-yard penalty from the previous spot results in a first down.
So there's a freebie for the Admirals. Encroachment always sounds so much more serious than it really is. First down now, the ball at the 46-yard line. Fuhrer throws. Ball's caught by Smith again. That's a gain of about 8. And a first down in Claymore's territory.
And Will Fuhrer is taking what they're giving him. Scotland's giving him everything underneath, and Will Fuhrer is being patient and taking it. You know, Scotland's saying, hey, you know, let's give it to him because then he's going to want to hit the home run ball. And when he goes for that, then he'll make a mistake and we'll intercept it. We'll be there for him. Will Fuhrer's being patient, taking what they're giving him.
Looking at a 2nd and a long 3. Might have a freebie again. Fuhrer throws. Ball's caught by Jones. And a first down. Jones still on his feet and dragged down as he gets to the 35-yard line of Scotland. And meanwhile, Orion Fire dominating the Galaxy in Frankfurt.
With Frankfurt really struggling after they started off the season 4-0. And then they changed offenses down there, and an offensive coordinator changed, and since then they haven't been able to win anything.
Things about to change dramatically as to who will be the opponent of the Scottish Claymores in the World Bowl.
And Frankfurt appears to be going to be 4-4. Now Amsterdam has to take control of things here.
Somewhere along the line, somebody's going to have to start looking at the Rhine Fire. Fuhrer in trouble, got away, throws in the middle of nowhere.
Lucky on that one. Lucky on that one. See, that's what Scotland's philosophy is right now. Wait till he makes a mistake, because he will make a mistake. And right there, he almost did. There's good coverage downfield. He has good time. He looks, can't find anybody. And right here, he tries to force it. And look, George Coghill, if he had his balance, would have picked that off.
And had a lot of room in front of him if he did. 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 34-yard line of the Claymores. And Fuhrer steps up, throws, crossing pattern, caught this time by Bobo, and Bobo gets it down to the 15-yard line.
Boy, was that nice. Was that nice all the way around. Good protection up front. Everything starts up front. Will Fuhrer sees the field. Now watch the change right here. See Diedrich Smith clear everybody out, and right underneath comes Philip Bobo. And as he makes his cut, Fuhrer puts the ball right on the numbers.
So another first down, the ball at the 15-yard line. As we said, the clock is not a factor at all. 7.5 minutes remaining. And Fuhrer to throw again, does so, end zone, touchdown! Bobo just turned his man 18 different ways.
Flag on the play.
And that might be against Bobo if there is. He got his man turned around, and now the question is which way?
Touchdown Amsterdam.
I think that's right.
Nice offensive drive. I'm very impressed with the Amsterdam Admirals offense and the composure they had.
Pass interference on the defense. The result of the play is a touchdown. The penalty is declined.
So Bobo with 2 big plays. One for the touchdown, one for a first down at the 15-yard line. And Bobo obviously forgetting about those stitches in his hand.
Philip Bobo, along with the rest of the Amsterdam offense, showing a lot of character.
Bobo's 4th touchdown of the year, 2nd of the ball game. And this to make it a 3-point ball game. It is good. And the Amsterdam Admirals just not going away and not folding their tent as their coach might have suggested. Don't go away. 3-point game. We'll be back.
Hey, the scoring continues in Amsterdam. Philip Bobo, excellent move, excellent pass from Will Fuhrer.
This guy is probably the best pass receiver in the league. If Sean LaChapelle isn't, the Scottish defensive backs unanimously said Bobo was the best guy. And this is a great throw and good catch. And look at that. Not only is Farkas back, but Jerry Kraft, the other tackle, is standing back in the backfield too. So Fuhrer's getting a lot of time to throw. And well, they called the penalty on James Williams. It looked like Bobo was pushing off on that, and James Williams hadn't given up a touchdown all year, and he's given up 2 now.
Why is it such a difference with Amsterdam? These categories that they do. We'll cover that on the next one. Let's go back to Amsterdam.
Barry Tompkins, Bill Moss, the sun setting on Olympic Stadium, but it's shining right now on Bobo and the rest of the Amsterdam Admirals. They trail now by only 3 points. Emotionally, maybe more important than anything else, they're back in this game. Kick this time headed for Thomas. And Thomas at the 15, at the 20-yard line. They fake the reverse, and Thomas is stopped at the 24, and a flag is down, and so the Claymores are going to start deep in their own territory.
Let's go, let's go!
Let's take a look at the touchdown here. It's a blitz. James Fuller's going to come in to the left of your screen right there, and Frank Thomas is on the other side. That's man-to-man coverage downfield. And right there, Philip Bobo beats James Williams. See him right there? A little stutter and go. Takes him inside, turns him around, and then heads back towards the corner of the end zone. And a heck of a drive downfield. Will Fuhrer has something to be happy about. Showing a lot of composure on that drive. When his team was down by 10, needed a touchdown.
They put points up the last time, and the Claymores came right back and scored. And undaunted, Fuhrer came right back. Both quarterbacks doing an excellent job today.
Penalty was holding on the block on the return kickoff for Scotland, and then that backs them up to the 10-yard line and really puts them in a hole.
For them, got to get a couple of first downs. Ballard, the quarterback. Straight back he goes to pass. Throws for Dickerson out of the backfield. Dickerson with a little bit of room has the first down. Crossing the 20 to the 21-yard line. Ron Dickerson, whose dad, of course, the coach at Temple.
Yeah, boy, what a great job by Jim Ballard. I mean, he sees everybody covered downfield, so he finds his outlet man, and that's the safety valve, Ron Dickerson, out of the backfield. And puts the ball in a great position. When you throw it to your back out in the flat, you want to put the ball in a position where he just has it right in front of him and gets a turn upfield. And when he doesn't have to break his stride, has the speed right there, it's a first down.
And good hands by Dickerson. Remember, he was a flanker when he played at Arkansas. In motion, Dickerson, and they give on a crossbuck this time to Stacy. Got about 2.
Ron Stacy really put on the shelf by the Amsterdam defense this afternoon. How about that? 0.1 yards a carry. Quite a tribute to the men up front for Amsterdam. And the thing about it is when you get in a fist fight like this, it's for 60 minutes. And it's real critical now that these guys keep the heat on them up front.
2nd and 7 now for Ballard. He will go up and throws a little out, in and out of the hands of Stacy. And Stacy having all kinds of problems, not only running the ball, but catching it today.
Well, there was no sun in his eyes down there. That's the shaded end of the field. You know, it seems like when it comes time and you really get out of rhythm, you're out of rhythm for Sharon Stacy. He hasn't been able to run today. He's had 3 drop passes.
Third down and 7, a big play here for both teams. They go out of the I formation. Straight back. They swing it out of the backfield this time for Stacy, and Stacy is going to be stopped short of the first down.
Big defensive series for the Amsterdam Admirals. That's really giving the momentum back to the offense. They've got to punt now. The Scottish Claymores have to punt. And the Amsterdam Admirals are going to have a short field.
Keith Franklin made the play, and he is jacked, and so are the Admirals, and what a difference a period of about 10 minutes has made. Remember Al Luganville accusing both his offense and his defense of quitting on him? Well, the dog's still hunting. How's that for a down-home expression?
Yeehaw.
And the punt will take a Claymores bounce, and it's going to wind up in pretty good shape at about the 28-yard line. So we'll jump off the track. It's a three-point ball game, and the Amsterdam Admirals will have it with 5 minutes left.
Hey, this is when the football game starts, but you know, when you look at Amsterdam, I'm sure there's a rule for national players, and it don't seem like, are they cheating?
There's something going on there. Now, remember, Al Luganbill's got all of his defensive nationals already on the injured reserve, so he doesn't have to use them, and that's why we haven't seen much of Scott Cooper, because Scotland doesn't have to use their offensive national in the same situation. But we also haven't seen any offensive national from Amsterdam, and very little of Emmett Waldron the same way. And on the last extra point, and remember, Scotland missed the extra point from Hastings, so extra points are critical right now. Verdecker didn't kick that, Vinatieri is, and one of the nationals is supposed to be doing one of the kicking jobs. So my question would be, well, why isn't Verdecker kicking the extra points? Is he injured now too?
So my question is, the Claymores are in football game here, up by 3 points. What would be the mentality of the defense right now?
Green light, you gotta start going. You gotta get to the quarterback, like I've been saying all day long. They gotta get in his face. Because Amsterdam has not been running the ball. They've been passing it. They must stop the pass.
So on that last play, where the defensive back got beat, I'm sure it was Williams. Is it his fault that he got beat from looking at the replay, or do they need to exert more pressure on the quarterback?
Well, the old saying is that you're not an island if you're a DB. And he was playing man coverage. It's just him and the receiver, and you know those things happen.
So when you're blitzing, you're putting all the pressure on those defensive backs, and they can't hold forever. So you've got to get to the quarterback quickly. That's why it's no one person's fault. It's a team thing.
Now let's hit this one. Amsterdam statistically so much better at home than they are on the road. Why is that?
My feeling is it's not that their home crowd gives them a lift. It's that they're playing in a big stadium where their crowd doesn't fill it up at all. And I get the feeling other teams come in and go dead because it's such a dead atmosphere in there. The noise doesn't really carry the way it does up in Scotland or in London, for that matter.
5 minutes left. Scotland by 3. Amsterdam with the ball. You want heroes? We got a whole bunch of them, Bill.
Yeah, and everybody knew coming into the game that Sean LaChapelle was going to get a bunch of catches. And on the other end, for Amsterdam Admirals, Philip Bobo's their go-to guy. These two guys made a big difference in today's game, particularly in the second half. 4 touchdowns between the two of these guys in the second half.
That was the first punt of the second half, incidentally, by the Claymores. And the Admirals start at the 28-yard line. Will Fuhrer's directed 2 straight touchdown marches. Will step up and go down as he crosses the 25. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, maybe lost a yard on the play.
Well, he had that man wide open in the flat, and that was Bean O'Brien. But he never got the chance to find him. See him leaving out on the left of the screen there? Nobody's on him. But Will doesn't even look that way. He feels the pocket closed down around him and tries to get back to the line of scrimmage. Doesn't quite make it. It's 2nd and 12.
Joe O'Brien made the defensive play. Fuhrer again out of the shotgun, steps up, throws underneath, ball's caught once more.
That's Dedrick Smith, the slot receiver. And back to what got him moving the last time they had the ball. The short possession routes. 5-6 yards, take a shot, move them downfield, little pieces at a time.
Got about 6, maybe 7 on that play. It's going to be 3rd down. And about 7. I'll call it 3rd and 6. Fuhrer with time, throws wide open. Chandler's got it at the 45. Running laterally, headed for midfield. Is it midfield? Cuts it back and knocked out of bounds short of the 45 at the 46. But a big first down for Amsterdam.
Nice play calling by the Amsterdam Admirals. Joe Clark did a fine job on that play. Right here, you're going to see Davy Jones, number 80, stretch the field, taking the safety with him, and then underneath comes Darren Chandler, 85, right in there in the middle of your screen. He catches the ball, and there's nobody with him underneath. Nobody in the middle of the field, just Darren Chandler.
They mark it at the 46-yard line, and another big 3rd down play for Will Fuhrer. Fuhrer looking over the middle again, runs out of time. Now he'll run. He's at the 45. He's got room. He's at the 40. He's at the 35, the 30. He can go all the way. At the 10, the 5. Admirals. Will Fuhrer from 46 yards out.
Darren Chandler, Davy Jones, they were covered. And when they saw Will Fuhrer take off for the sidelines, they came back and threw blocks.
And that man is saying, what has happened to my defense? The best in the league.
It's amazing watching the Amsterdam Admirals. Will the real Amsterdam Admirals please stand up?
And they've stood up and they've sat down and they've stood up and they've laid down and they've stood up again. And right now they're very much up.
And Will Fuhrer and Al Luganbill picked this team up a couple times.
And now the clock is becoming a bit of a factor. 3:43 left. Try for point is up and good. And the Admirals are back in front. Will Fuhrer has had a spectacular run here in the second half.
Watch number 7, Will Fuhrer, in the middle of your screen right there. He sets up in the pocket. Can't find anybody. Has a lot of time. Ducks out of the pocket to try to see if he can free somebody up. Can't, so he heads for the sidelines. And see the block thrown there by Davy Jones?
You see the clip thrown there?
Well, we saw it, but the ref didn't. Nothing but daylight. Will Fuhrer's head on a swivel. He was heading for it, and look, he says, I'm going to come over there. He thought he was going to slide it first. Then he says, hey, look at all the room I got. Little fancy footwork there. High step. Show the Heisman step right there, huh?
I like it.
He looked like he was about to slide for the first down and be happy with that. Then he looks downfield and says, hey, nobody's in my way. I might as well take it in for a touchdown.
He had a little left at the end, too. 4-point lead, Amsterdam.
And, you know, now the missed extra point by Scotland really comes into play. If it was 28, they'd be down by a field goal and have a chance to tie this thing up with 3 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game.
And nobody has left Olympic Stadium. It's not a big crowd, but we said this last week, too, and you've seen a lot more games than I have. Maybe not always big, but always active participants. Short kick handled by Thomas. This time they do reverse for Gissendaner. And it doesn't get him much as Gissendaner's down at the 25-yard line by Robert O'Neill.
Well, things are really heating up. The Rhine is beating Frankfurt 31-0. So Frankfurt more or less lost this game. And that's going to put them at 4-4. Now, if Amsterdam can find a way to hold on to this lead, and they'll be 4-4. And then it will be a battle between Frankfurt and Amsterdam to see who's going to get there down the stretch. And those two teams play each other the last week of the season.
I don't think it's quite a gimme yet for the Amsterdam Admirals. 3:35 left. That's a gang of time, of course. Ballard straight back. Going to put it up. Throws. And it is intercepted. Intercepted by Robert O'Neill. And I have to say, Yo Murphy was wide open on that play. Wide open.
Take a look here. Sean LaChapelle on Tommy Jones. He leaves Tommy Jones, turns inside. Now watch the fine job by Robert Jones. The ball actually overthrown. If the ball was thrown on the money, LaChapelle would have had a catch because he was in front of Robert O'Neill, pardon me. He was in front of Robert O'Neill, and the ball was thrown high. O'Neill able to get his hand in there, jar it loose, and then keep his eyes on the ball as he's coming down and catch it for an interception.
Al Luganbill asked his players who's going to step up, and since he's asked that, and I realize these things are rhetorical and it's just all in the spirit of the game, but he's had a half a dozen guys take them literally. Bobo has stepped up. O'Neill has stepped up. Fuhrer has stepped up. And they give this time to Bino Bryant. Bryant stopped short of the 30-yard line at the 32. George Coghill on the stop.
And nobody on Amsterdam's sidelines is on the bench. They're all standing up, you know. Now they're all hovering around Al Luganbill. Look at the guys. Remember in the third quarter? Nobody was standing up. They were all sitting on the bench, getting chewed out, feeling sorry for themselves. Will Fuhrer and Al Luganbill have rallied this team, given him a sense of belief, and it's showing right now.
He has run the emotional gamut tonight.
Kevin Farkas jumped off sides right there. And you don't want penalties to come up and bite you right now. And they've had problems with penalties in the past.
2 minutes, 49 seconds remaining. Lance Zeno pacing the sidelines.
5-yard penalty.
It's going to make it a 2nd down and 12.
Well, a touchdown here by Amsterdam would more or less seal it for them. And a field goal would put it at 7, and that would force Scotland to have to score a touchdown just to tie.
Fuhrer going to put it up on 2nd and 12. Safe pass out of the backfield, almost intercepted off the hand of Bean O'Brien, and that was going to be a touchdown for James Williams.
Boy, Amsterdam caught a break there. Watch Will Fuhrer. See, this time he sees Bean O'Brien out in the flat. Throws the ball high. Beano tips it up, and James Williams got a hand on it. And he's wishing right now that he could have picked that thing off. And interceptions have eluded James Williams all year. He's the only DB of all the Scotland DBs that doesn't have an interception.
Clock stops now. 3rd down and 12. 3-man rush. Fuhrer hit as he throws, caught by Chandler short of the 1st down. The ball now at the 28-yard line. This would be a 45-yard field goal from here.
Well, what do you do if you're Al Luganville? It's a long field goal, and if you punt, you have a good chance of putting it in the end zone and having the ball out to 20 anyhow.
Well, Vinatieri's longest field goal, 43 yards.
Why not go for it?
They are? Okay.
So they will let it run down to 1. It'll be 2:05 left.
You want to kill the clock?
Well, 2 minutes. I got it down to the 2-minute warning, so he didn't have to call timeout, really. And Jim Kreider's thinking, was that a timeout or is that the 2-minute warning? Would be a factor for him. He trails by 4.
Don't get it. Well, it gets no better than this. David, here we go. Put your coach's hat on and field goal, or we're going for the touchdown.
I would have to say punt it. Make them use the clock up. Make them run the gamut of going up and down the field. It's been pretty tough for the Claymore offense to move it so far, and if they got only 2 minutes to go, who knows?
What you say, Coach?
I agree with him, and not just because he's sitting next to me and he's 60 pounds heavier than I am, but because if you kick the field goal and make it, they can still come down and beat you with a touchdown and a 2-point extra point. So make them work as hard as they can for it anyway. Don't give them back the ball at the 20 or whatever.
2 punts. Okay, we'll see what's happening.
We're at the 2-minute warning. They're having a good old time here in Amsterdam. Why not? Their team has come from behind to lead at 31-27. Down in Frankfurt, Rhein Fire having a good time too. Frankfurt has scored, but the Rhein Fire comfortably in front with 2 minutes left in that ball game, a little more than 2 minutes, and it's a 31-8 Rhein Fire lead.
And they're going for it.
4th down and about 3.5. Quarterback draw, and Fuhrer's got it.
Well, he got it, and he paid for it.
Good call.
He feels he has the hot hand, or should I say the hot feet. He's getting the bug now to run. So he calls his own number on the quarterback draw, sets up in the pocket, waits for the defensive lineman to get past the offensive lineman, and takes it right up the middle.
The clock continues to run, and I'm not quite sure what Claymores are thinking about.
Yeah, and I didn't understand why they didn't call timeout before the 2-minute warning, to force them to run the play in hopes of getting the ball back. If they got the ball back, they could use the 2-minute as an additional timeout.
Exactly. Play fake this time. And Saka is the man that was running with the ball. John Saka, who...
Flag on the field.
They will use Saka in that situation, so the flag means the clock will stop for the moment at least. And 1 minute and 9 seconds left.
Number 95 of the defense. Illegal contact with the helmet.
It's a personal foul against the Claymore. Is going to be another 1st down.
Well, they didn't need that. And you know, there was going to come a time where, for Scottish Claymores, how many times can you go to the well until it comes up empty? And today, number 27, Thurwell, came up empty. And it really put them in a bind in the first half.
He's right here. I'll just go in. But just go tell him. No, just go run right to him and call the timeout. Run right to him, right to him. As soon as the play's over.
They only have one more timeout, as you saw a moment ago, and they will run down there. Joe O'Brien will be the messenger. As soon as the play's over, run down, call a timeout. But it's just about a moot point here with a first down at the 15-yard line. John Saka remains the quarterback. Saka gives to Bryant this time. Bryant just trying to use a little of the clock. Now he slips a tackle. Wants to stay in bounds. Is knocked out of bounds. Now they don't have to burn a timeout.
Well, they had their big people in up front, the Amsterdam Admirals, and 73, Willie Williams was the tight end. And he came in motion, and they're going to call holding on Willie Williams. See him right there? He drags Arnold Ali down to the ground. That's going to back him up. And they have to be careful here.
10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
They have to be careful. Now they're backing up another 10 yards, and that's going to put them...
But there's a decision to make here. Now, do you take the down, even though he did gain some yardage?
No, I want to kill the clock. God damn.
Well, Al Luganville is very adamant about killing the clock, and he doesn't care who he yells at.
Going to move the ball back to the 25-yard line, but it will give them 4 snaps again, and Claymores with just 1 timeout. Al's put a few miles on those shoes tonight.
I'd like to count how far he walks through the course of a game.
Put a few miles on his mouth, too. And Saka on a sneak. Kind of a quarterback Saka, if you will.
And there he gets his timeout. Al wanted. His offense gets to view the situation. And
well, it doesn't end here on FX. Got a pretty darn good ball game for you tomorrow, and especially with the way things have gone tonight. Now, Barcelona and London, yeah, they're both 3-4, and yes, they're both still very much in the hunt to form the other half of the World Bowl game with the Scottish Claymores. That's tomorrow, 6 o'clock here in Central Europe.
Barry, you know what's really interesting is, well, in the last 2 weeks, I saw the Scottish Claymores get a little sloppy in their play. They've been up by a lot of points, and Ryan almost came back and beat them. And last week against Frankfurt, their second half play was sloppy. And today, I was talking to Jim Soker before the game. He goes, you know, I've never seen my players like this. They're very loose today. Look, they're out here playing catch, fooling around. And he was hoping it was a good sign. But actually, it wasn't. I mean, that's how they felt. They were loose. They thought it was an easy win down here. And they didn't come into the game prepared to play a full game. Typical of the Scottish Claymore style of play, and the result here has been detrimental to them.
Well, they lit it up in the third quarter, and then they forgot how to score. And a costly interception. And that set up Will Fuhrer for some fourth quarter dramatics, which has given his team the lead, and apparently the lead to stay with 42, 41, now 40 seconds remaining.
I didn't understand Al Luganville. He wanted a timeout before the 2 minutes, which he should have let the clock run down. He's in control of the ball. Then he wanted a timeout there, and I can't grasp why. He was in a situation where it was first down, and he wanted to call a timeout. He can let the clock run down.
Well, the clock continues to run down, and I don't think there's anything the Claymores can do about this. As Saka takes a knee. And this one is going to be in the bank.
Yeah, it looks like Amsterdam continues their home winning record, 4-0 this year.
Well, this one falls into the category, I think, of gutsy win, because this team was in a situation where it easily could have folded its tent, and it didn't do that.
Well, you hope for...
Good ball game.